we're gonna, that camp put so much work with him, with the legend, that we're gonna see an image of him from back in the days. We're gonna see him look a lot stronger. His time response was gonna be sped up a little bit. And you know what? They delivered, bro. I don't know how you felt about that, but he delivered. He came out there. Yafai was trying to fight his fight because he felt, you know what, I could take it to him. But Gonzalez just really looked like a spitting image of him past self, which, he's fought two of the best guys in the world. I mean, he lost to the best guy at the time in the world. So that there's no really, I don't really understand why we wrote him off. You know what I mean? Like, why did we write him off? He wasn't a division he shouldn't have belonged in, but he's there. He's going to fight Estrada. Hopefully, I'm hoping that he's going to fight Estrada, because that's actually one of the fights that all of us immediately wanted to see him get back in the ring. And
yeah. I think that Roman definitely, he looked amazing. He looked young. He didn't look like the old man that we thought he was. But I do think that people felt that people writ him off because. Yeah, man, he took some savage knockouts, and it's very difficult sometimes for people to come back from a knockout, especially when it's savage like that, and I have to respect Deontay Wilder real quick just for taking that rematch so quickly, because that takes a lot of heart after getting beat down so badly and taking such a savage knockout to come back and immediately want to fight. But yeah, Roman looked amazing. He moved very well, man. He was landing both power and jabs. He looked great. He looked like a version of his young self. Had a lot of heart out there. Definitely not expected. Not what I expected at all. I expected it to be a lot more even of a fight.
Let's see if we got a Milcar finally with us here on Leaving Ring, brother. Are you there?
Well, I have him on camera. I see that he's trying to talk. He just moved his lips on camera, but no words actually came through the headphones.
Oh, he is speechless. Milcar is speechless. It's not a live show, man, if we don't got no technical difficulties here on the show live and stuff. Fight fans, again, you guys want to call in, you certainly can. 347-215-7598. Let's talk boxing here with myself, Milcar, if Emil can get on, and Katie T. We do have BoMac scheduled at 5:20 Pacific time, and Magdaleno's at 6 p.m., and then David Benavidez will be joining us at 7 p.m. We'll be calling in David around that time. Sorry, getting texts here. Yeah, I mean, look, I thought, which I reached out to the camp after, right after the fight. I reached out and I congratulated him, and Roman was leaving back to Nicaragua. He's going to go, see his family, definitely recoup, gather everything back, and then fly back and go right back and go to, the professional year is going to go right back into work, get back into the gym and start training all over again with Marcos Caballero. And then they're going to focus on who they're going to face next. But I do want to try to get Marcos Caballero on next week's show. Just to, hey, how you doing there? Let's see, do we have? Yeah, we should. Yeah, I can hear you now, Milcar.
All right, there was an issue with the piece of equipment and an AC adapter that it seems like it got fried, but I'll save you guys the boring technical details. I'm just glad to be
good,
on.
Though.
Good to have
you.
You
are on here, Mike.
Thank you.
But let's back it up really quick, because there was a fight. I was really interested because I saw that Joseph Parker was going to step back into the ring, and he was going in with his kid that really was relatively known, Winters, but a lot of us knew that he was a tough guy. But Parker went out there, and the one thing that he was being criticized a lot was that he wasn't stepping on the gas. He tended to like to box. It almost seemed like he took a step back and just trying to, perfect his boxing skill, which is perfectly fine. But, fans tune in. They want to, especially from heavyweights, they want to see a KO. And Parker went at Winters and was really seeking for that big. For a minute, I didn't think he was going to get it, guys. Winters was using that shoulder roll, kind of looking like kind of like with the Floyd Mayweather shoulder roll and stuff. More of a James Toney type of style to me that I was getting the vibe from. And it was working. He was, getting little pot shots underneath Parker. But the one thing that I saw that Winters did wrong and Parker capitalized on was that when Winters decided to jab, he would hold his jab out there and he waited for the receipt. He wanted to kind of see what Parker was going to do. He seemed like he was more comfortable being against the ropes and punches being smothered than really working anything on the outside. And that's where it worked for Parker. He was able to catch him with a straight right, going off of his jab, and caught him a number of times. And then he saw that it worked. And he also saw that, Winters, after he jabbed, his feet were in the mud, and he knew that he can counter that. And that was the end of the tape there. Once he caught him, he rocked him, he dropped him, and basically Winters had no legs underneath him after that.
I didn't like Winters' strategy at all, David, if I'm going to be honest. He weighed in essentially just over the cruiserweight limit and decided to just sit on the ropes and let a guy that weighs 245 pounds and who's obviously significantly bigger than him just tee off on him. And even if he was catching some of those shots and smothering Parker to a certain extent, it was only a matter of time before Parker was going to kind of wear him down and catch him clean, which is essentially what he ended up doing. I've got to also say, I don't really understand the criticism of anyone who thought that Joseph Parker was boring leading up to this fight. Last time he fought Alex Leopai, and it was just nonstop, pretty much punching and power punching from the opening bell. Do you remember that fight, Kenny?
Oh,
the one in Providence on the Andrade fight?
I 100% remember that fight. I was super impressed by him in that fight, but I do have to rebuttal you and say that previous to that fight, he was semi-boring. He was super boring in the Anthony Joshua fight, and he was not the same Joseph Parker that we saw in the last two fights. Definitely not. And even he was not boring when he fought Andy Ruiz. That was an amazing fight. That was back in 4-5. But he does have certain fights when he goes very, very boring. Like he just tries to box too much with dudes that maybe he shouldn't be boxing as much with. I honestly thought he should have brought the firepower and the pain to Anthony Joshua. He shouldn't have been at such a distance.
I agree.
He tried to, but the ref, anytime Joseph Parker wanted to get busy and box on the inside, which is where his advantage is because he's shorter and has a shorter reach than Anthony Joshua, the referee stopped him from being able to go to work. I don't blame him for being boring in that performance. And he wasn't boring against Dillian White. You know,
no, definitely not. Those fights. That's what I'm saying.
I think it's pretty hard to say that he hasn't brought exciting action to the heavyweight division. I mean, when he hasn't looked good, you kind of got to look at the opponents. Like Huey Fury is not an exciting fighter, and
no.
Klitschko fight, Anthony Joshua when has he been exciting? I just felt that the ref gave far too much help to Anthony Joshua when he fought Joseph Parker.
I remember that.
Well, the thing about Joseph Parker, I think that what most folks are confusing boring and inactivity. Because the bee stung and everything. That a lot of folks are feeling like, oh, well, I can't really remember what Joseph Parker is, who he, what he does. I actually was really looking forward to that fight because I wanted to see how Parker looked. I wanted to see because he had been ill, he hasn't been fighting, he's been out of the ring. I wanted to see how he was going to come back. Was there going to be fire in him, and to make a statement to the heavyweight division that he's still healthy, alive here? And I thought that he did that. I did like the matchup, though, Amilcar. I agree with you. It was the wrong strategy, the wrong plan, because he was fighting, to me, like a middleweight or super middleweight by doing the James Toney, waist move up top and stay in one position. But he also showed that he couldn't he's not comfortable fighting in the outside. He's not. You could see there was no confidence in throwing long range punches. And that, to me, was Parker's way of letting him know that you have to have more than just one thing in the bag to be a world-class fighter like Joseph Parker. I thought it was a great, interesting fight. I want to see who he moves on next. I got to tell you, I'd love to see Usyk and him trade gloves with each other if that is
That's
possible.
really
I know
good
Usyk
match.
has something scheduled, but I think that would be a phenomenal fight.
I don't think
That's
he's
a
ready
really
for
good
that.
match.
I don't think Usyk is ready for that. I need to see Usyk with somebody else. It's the same way I feel about Mikey Garcia. I don't think he's ready for anybody else in
Right.
the welterweight division. I don't think that Usyk is ready for anybody else in the heavyweight division. He fought Witherspoon, I think last time, and he didn't look too good against Witherspoon. He needs to build his way up. I would hate to see Usyk against Joseph Parker. I mean, in my head, it seems like a great matchup, but then really, really thinking about it, I see Usyk getting badly hurt.
I don't know. I mean, Usyk is a big guy, and he's fought heavyweights. I'll let you get in your thought here, Melcar. I just lost mine. Go for it.
Go ahead, Dave.
No, go ahead. I just lost mine. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just saying I'm looking at it from the perspective of a fan more than of a manager or a fanager. I think it's exciting because, we don't know how Usyk is going to perform at the top level against the heavyweight. And Joseph Parker appears to be just below what I would consider the A-class heavyweight fighter at the moment. So it's intriguing. Is it a risky proposition for Usyk? Of course it is. But if you're going to throw him in there against the heavyweight and risk a loss, you might as well do it against a guy with a profile who's a former world champion. Then I would even say his next opponent, Chisora, who I think is a super dangerous opponent for him and really doesn't bring anything in terms of being a former titleist or current world champion.
I would rather see him against Chisora. I would rather see him against somebody like it was one of the last couple dudes that Deontay Wilder knocked out. I forgot his name. He knocked him out right before he fought Luis Ortiz. Whatever. I would rather see
Brazil.
Yeah, Dominic Brazil. I'd rather see him against the Dominic Brazil or a Chisora. Why? Because they're matching him up to the point where he has an advantage, not to the point where he could get hurt. Chisora's a slow, powerful man. Chisora may barely land punches on a fast duck and dodge in Usyk. That's what they're looking for, to match him up in a way where he has the advantage. I don't really see him having the speed or the defense advantage on a dude like Joseph Parker, because that's the way that Joseph Parker fights. He boxes more than he brawls. Chisora brawls. He's gonna be looking for the one put him to sleep punch, and he's gonna miss that repeatedly. Dominic Brazil is a bigger, slower dude that tries to box. I would rather see him against those two dudes than a dude like we just mentioned. Why am I catching brain farts today? This is not good,
Joseph
guys.
Parker?
Yeah, Joseph Parker. I'm over here forgetting names and stuff. Wow.
I think that Usyk, man, honestly, is going to give anybody problems because of his footwork, and because you know what, our image of him is what he's done in the cruiserweight division. So a lot of us feel like he's not going to be competitive to bigger guys, but he has fought bigger guys. He's fought like Joy. He defeated him. I think what he brings to the table is his skills. Obviously, is going to be something to either figure out for the bigger, slower heavyweight guys. Okay, his footwork is obviously going to puzzle a lot of folks in the heavyweight division, like in the likes of like Fury. His footwork puzzles a lot of these heavyweights. The thing that I think the big question mark and the riddle over his head is the power. Does he have the power to keep these bigger guys from walking in? I don't know yet. I think that fighting Joseph Parker gives us kind of that bar of whether or not they've either, I don't think it's, look, the way they're talking, why not put him in with Joseph Parker? To me, that's the right opponent right there to tell us everything. Parker's been there. He's fought the best in the division. It's just like Milk Carr I just mentioned. He's an A fighter. So Usyk and them, I think that to me we would get everything answered because Joseph Parker has a little bit of everything. He's not the biggest heavyweight, and he's not his footwork ain't the fastest, but he's got fast hands. He can close the distance, and he throws in bunches and punches. So I like that fight a lot. I think that would be the bar for me to tell me where Usyk would stand among all the heavyweights in that division.
After you put it like that, sounds great. Sorry, Emil, go ahead.
I'm just saying he has solid fundamentals too. He's a fundamentally sound boxer. He doesn't do anything badly. He's got good balance, like you said, David. Good hand speed, very good power. Not super heavyweight like a Tyson Fury, or even a Joshua, but he's a big guy, and I think it would be a good test for Usyk. The other thing too is you kind of have to look at who's available. In the heavyweight division, and the guys that are free and the guys that are tied up. And of the guys that are not tied up, he's probably the biggest name.
I agree. After hearing you guys mention what you guys just mentioned, I do think that it will be an amazing fight to see. I was previously thinking more as like Emil said, a fanager, thinking about the way that he should be brought up, that would be best for himself being Usyk. But the truth is, as a fan, yeah, you're right. I want to see all the fireworks. I want to see all the smoke. I want to see all the grenades, dynamites, and explosions.
Right.
There's one other name that I forgot about too. This is one other name too that I think would be an interesting fight because he's not the tallest. I mean, he's heavy, obviously, but he's not the tallest. But Andy Ruiz, I think that would be a good fight too.
That'd be an amazing fight. And even very dangerous for it. Well, depending how heavy Andy Ruiz comes in, is he gonna eat the Snickers or is he gonna put it down?
Exactly. Would you have?
I know. Hearing back, we're seeing on his Instagram is he's back in the gym. He's obviously taking it serious again. It seems right now that he's hungry. He's hungry for that fight. So I think he's really dangerous for Usyk. But again, Usyk's his mastery in footwork is above all the other guys, in my opinion, at this moment, until I see otherwise. It's right up there with Tyson Fury. I think that footwork and him able to create angles and pivot out of danger is going to give guys anytime a lot of problems. It's going to confuse a lot of these heavyweights. And, Andy Ruiz doesn't have the most intellectual footwork. He's got fast hands, and he knows how to come and close that distance immediately, but he really doesn't know how to pivot out of the way. There's no mastery in his footwork because he's such a big guy. I don't see him being able to go footwork per footwork with Usyk. I think that if that fight was to be made, you have to edge it for Andy Ruiz because of the power, but then you have to go, well, Usyk can make him miss a lot of shots. And that could be really frustrating for Andy Ruiz because he's so used to Andy fighting big guys that don't have that footwork because they're there to kind of walk you down. Bigger guys like to use their weight to walk you down. Usyk is a big guy, but he's not there to walk you down. Usyk likes to, tap around you, all around your body, break you slowly, break you down, and then he goes for the KO, or he just busts you up enough where you kind of just mentally and physically just break and give up. I don't know that would happen with Andy Ruiz, but I think definitely that he could catch Andy Ruiz coming in because Andy would get desperate and try to land something really big because he'd be behind on those scorecards. But until that fight happens or gets made, I don't know. It's still up in the air, man. That's my opinion about it.
I think that
one. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just say I think that the biggest telltale in that fight would be what weight Andy Ruiz comes in on, and because he can come close around 200. Think about it, if Andy Ruiz was to drop to like 220, he would be a very slim man, probably just as mobile as Usyk, because he's around 290 right now. He's extremely mobile. So, but he's not gonna come down the weight. Although he said that he wants to train himself and look like the new Anthony Joshua and yada yada yada. But no, the truth. In all honesty, I think that the man let the money get to his head. If you look at the last interview that he had, I think it was with ESPN. He got some big old gold diamond chains on his neck and all this other stuff, and that was not Andy Ruiz before he got that fight and before he got the money. So yeah, I don't know if I ever see that fight with Usyk and Ruiz happening, but it will definitely be a major match. I would love to see the fireworks in that one as well.
The last name, and again, now I'm going to put on my manager hat if I was kind of managing Usyk. A good opponent from that perspective, I think would have been Manuel Char, the Syrian fighting out of Germany. Reason being, he's got a little bit of a name in Europe. He's the WBA regular champion, for whatever that's worth. He's been super inactive. I don't think he's fought in about 3 years because of the situation with Fresno Kendo, who for some reason was still entitled to a shot at the WBA title. So, you know, and he's also not the biggest guy. I think he's about 6'3", maybe 6'4" at the most. That would have been, I think, a pretty much an easy win for him. He would have picked up a title belt, and it would have been like a kind of a dipping your toe into the heavyweight division a little bit, at least at something that's just below the championship level. So, again, that's not a fan's perspective of him being in the biggest fights and the most exciting fights, but in terms of kind of, again, managing
prepping them for the heavyweight division, right? Yeah, no,
yeah,
I completely agree. We should be getting BoMac here in a few more minutes. I did text them. They just let me know they're trying to get a hold of him right now so they can bring him on here on the show. Again, if you're listening on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button and hit the bell button on the right-hand side there. I believe it's on the right-hand side, so that you're notified that when we're on every Monday night here on Leave and Ring. If you're not watching us on the YouTube, don't worry about it. You can always catch us on Blog Talk, Stitcher, Audio Boom, iTunes, iHeart, Blogbean. God, dude, we're on every single freaking platform out there. You know, FM radio, the FM radio station, audio, app that they have. We're on there as well. So again, we're waiting for BoMac here on Leaving in the Ring. And hopefully we can get in. If you guys got some questions, put it on the chat, top chat here for us, and we'll ask those questions.
Yep, we already have one question lined up for BoMac. We'll definitely be asking that. I answered it I gave my opinion on the question myself, although I don't know, it's just an opinion. But yeah, we definitely have a question already for BoMac from HC. I think it's Llamas or Lamas. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but yeah.
Well, while we're waiting for BoMac to call in here, I want to kind of pose this out there, about moving on to the main event between Mikey Garcia at his still campaigning at the welterweight division, 147 pounds, on his zone on Saturday night against the very game, Jesse Vargas. I said this right before the fight started, guys. I tweeted out, if Jesse starts off fast and uses the jab and closes that distance between him and Mikey Garcia, that he could possibly create something there. And for those first 4 rounds, that's what he was doing. He was creating something there that a lot of folks thought that he was that he was not going to be able to do. He was catching Mikey Garcia. Every time he jabbed, he would do the check hook, and it landed. It was beautiful. Anytime how he closed that distance was by stepping to his left and then throwing the overhand right, and would catch. He would definitely catch Mikey Garcia. But the thing with Mikey Garcia is he's like any really professional, intelligent boxer in there. They start seeing that you're starting to use the same moves. You're not being creative. And he started correcting it. So he would keep his left guard up very high so that after he jabbed, he pulled it back immediately so that Jesse would only catch that glove. Then Mikey Garcia started looking a lot more comfortable. He started to, get his feet underneath him, and he got his timing. And that was the one thing that I said throughout that fight on Twitter was that once he gets his timing and his rhythm, it's going to change for Jesse Vargas. He has to do more than what he was just doing. And to me, I've always said this about Jesse Vargas, very tough, very grit. But his problem with him, I've always felt, is that he overthinks what he's going to do sometimes. In those first 4 rounds, he was reacting, and he kind of had a little bit of a plan. But as soon as Mikey started blocking those punches and started kind of honing down on his punches and coming down straight down the middle, catching him, hurting him, and eventually dropped him, that was it. It was completely over. He was basically on airplane mode.
Yeah. You go for it, Mel. I'll take over after. Go for it.
Well, I don't have anything really much to add on the technical side in terms of Jesse Vargas. Jesse Vargas does everything well, but he doesn't do really anything great. I don't think. He's got a great boxing brain. I mean, he understands the sport. He's able to analyze things very well, which he's done at a very high level as a commentator. The problem with him is just that his talent has a ceiling, and the ceiling is the championship level. Whenever he's taken on the top opponents in their weight class, he hasn't been able to get the win. I mean, whether it's Tim Bradley, whether it's Mikey Garcia, whether it's Manny Pacquiao, he unfortunately comes up short. I mean, he's able to do decently against, Delorme, Broner, people of that kind of caliber, or even Antonio DeMarco. But again, at the very top level, with the elite championship level fighters, he just can't really get wins. And anyone who's been involved in sports, I'm a phys ed teacher by trade. I also coach sports teams with kids. You always have those kids that just got really good talent, and then the kids that work really hard but just kind of aren't as good. No knock on Jesse. He's tough. He's by all means a consummate professional, but he's just not at the elite when it comes to the championship level.
I feel like I definitely agree with you. I just feel like I don't know. He goes out there, he pours his heart out, he leaves his heart in the ring. Like he really does fight. He really goes out there, takes a lot of punches, which he probably shouldn't be doing, and gives a lot of punches back. I'm gonna say something you guys probably aren't gonna like, but or is he the gatekeeper for the division? Nah. But I think he's a really good fighter. He's a great fighter. I think we can't discount him as a great fighter. No, I don't think he'll ever be champion unless he falls into a situation where a belt is relinquished for somebody being injured or something, and he gets a belt by fighting somebody for a title that nobody's currently holding. But I don't really see that happening.
Kenny, I actually agree with you.
It's the welterweight division.
I actually agree with you. He is the gatekeeper.
He is a gatekeeper. You're right.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah,
before I used
He's
to say
literally the definition of a gatekeeper.
Before I used to
say
Adrian Broner was a gatekeeper, but that was like 6 years ago before he started getting pounded on by everybody. And now, I think that Jesse Vargas makes like a pretty good gatekeeper because he's beat some really good people and he's fought some good people and gotten beat by them. So it's like he has good experience. Like I guess Mikey Garcia just keyed in the door to the welterweight. But I don't think he should continue fighting in the welterweight division. That's my opinion. Your thoughts?
My thought is that he'd be a great opponent for a guy like Virgil Ortiz.
Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, a really good opponent for Virgil Ortiz. I don't think he's going to want that fight because he's looking for the big, cash money, that FU money. It's basically what Mikey Garcia is looking for. He's looking for that.
No, sorry. I didn't mean Mikey Garcia. I didn't mean Mikey Garcia. I meant.
You're talking about Jesse Vargas. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's the only thing with Jesse.
Virgil's on the zone.
It's a great fight for him. But what I saw of Jesse on Saturday night, taking nothing away from Mikey Garcia, he had a great performance. It was a solid win. My thing with this was watching how Jesse got hurt. Not just once. It was numerous times, He was getting hurt throughout the fifth all the way down. And that told me that that's something they should go back and start looking into of maybe hanging up those gloves. Jesse's a really nice kid. I've known Jesse for a very long time. He's been on Leaving the Ring. I've texted with him back and forth in private. He's a very humble kid, very nice guy, but see what happened on Saturday, having a good run for 4 rounds, and then everything just fizzled out and fell apart, and seeing that he was getting hurt. And really from a guy that a lot of us questioned because we saw him move up to 140, then to 147 in Mikey Garcia, that we never really felt he had power to really hold anybody off at the welterweight division. So is it really Mikey's power that moved up finally with him, or is it really that Father Time is really catching up to Jesse Vargas? And if it is Father Time, I wouldn't want to see him get in with Ortiz, who's more of a killer at 147, guys. I just don't want to see that.
I hope it's not Father Time, because he's only 30 years old or so. But I think it's to use a word you just used, time or timing.
Yeah.
Garcia has great timing. You know, he's
right.
a elite level counter puncher. He picks you apart. He times your jab. He times your power punches. He knows when to fight on the outside. He knows when to fight on the inside. His mastery of distance is there. I still, though, think that the appropriate division for Mikey, 135 is probably a bit too much of a stretch now, given that he hasn't fought there in a while, although I feel that that's probably his ideal weight, is that he should go down to 140.
I don't really
because
see
I agree.
I don't really see that happening.
Yeah.
Didn't he go up to 154? Wasn't he fighting at 154 not too long ago, something like that?
No.
Jesse Vargas?
Jesse Vargas.
And Vargas at 147. Yeah.
I don't know if I see Jesse Vargas going down. It does seem, I don't know. He throws good punches at good angles, but his punches seem to tickle other dudes and not really hurt them. Maybe I'm being a little disrespectful by saying tickle. I don't mean to disrespect nobody. I always say that. I have to always say that. No disrespect to anybody. But I do feel that he doesn't really affect the fighters at 147. He did hurt Mikey, or not hurt, but Mikey did seem to feel the punches quite a few times. But Mikey's coming up from 140. I mean, his last fight was at 147, but I'm still considering him as coming up from 140 because he got clobbered that last match against Errol Spence. He barely threw punches. I don't even know if he got to test his abilities at the 147 versus Errol Spence. So
well, you might as well just say 135 because before
I was
that
going to say that.
At 135.
True. I don't even say 140s because if I'm correct, he's had a fight or two at 140. I don't quote me. But I don't know. Jesse Vargas, I don't know what he should do, where he should move. I don't really know. But I do respect the dude, his work ethic. He's a hard fighter. Hey, maybe he could just continue being that gatekeeper and getting contracts and collecting money. Who knows? He's a young man. I don't think Father Time is catching up to him. He has a long time ago. He's very humble, good dude. Much respect to him. I wish him the best.
Yeah, well, we're still waiting for BoMac. They're trying to reach him. I believe he's probably in the gym working with this fighter right now, Damian Allen Jr. So as soon as we can get him on, we will. We do have Magdaleno scheduled for 6 p.m. and then David Benavidez. I got to say this really quick. Like I said, it was a great win for Mikey Garcia. I think Mikey's a bit too patient sometimes. It's evident. He had Jesse Vargas out. Jesse Vargas' legs were just spaghettied, but he just couldn't seem to step the gas a little more to take Jesse Vargas. Maybe because Jesse Vargas was keeping him humble with his right hand, and he felt Jesse Vargas is still strong and dangerous. I don't know. But we know this about Mikey Garcia. He's never had that real killer instinct when he gets a guy hurt. He likes to systematically just break you apart. And if he can get the stoppage, he'll get that stoppage. They're talking about Manny Pacquiao. I don't know what you guys are thinking or how you feel, but I think that style is tailor-made for Manny Pacquiao. If you're too patient, that darting in and out that Manny does and darting in and out with angles, it's going to give Mikey a lot of problems.
The first thing I want to say is I want to agree with what you had said in terms of his tactics laid on in the fight. I think he's a cautious fighter of being a natural counterpuncher too. And he realized that Jesse Vargas was the bigger guy. And he boxed effectively and aggressively and, with enough excitement to please the fans, but while still maintaining that cautiousness that he needed to kind of get the win. And what you got to do against the bigger guy, because as we know, Jesse Vargas has fought even higher than welterweight. As for Manny Pacquiao, I think it's a terrible matchup for Mikey Garcia, even at the age that Pacquiao is at now. Pacquiao's just speed and timing and foot movement and
power,
feints, which is the most underrated skills, are just still on an elite level. And I think there are other more winnable fights that he can make that would be better for him. And even if you need 2 or 3 of those to make the payday of a Pacquiao fight, I think it's worth it. Again, putting the manager hat on now, than taking on a guy who's in his 40s and losing and kind of in a bad way. What do you think, Kenny?
I think it's a horrible matchup. I think people seem to forget that, yes, Manny Pacquiao is an old man, but he just rocked Thurman's world. And
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, his previous fights before that, he was rocking everybody. I don't even think he lost against Jeff Horn. Some people do think he won.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. He beat the shit out of Jeff Horn.
Find me one guy, right? Find me one guy that actually says that Jeff Horn won that fight. I'd wait. You know, I don't think anybody with a set of eyes. Right. Well, yeah.
Go to Australia. You got the whole country saying that he won. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'll even say this. Etiquette. I went to a clinic for boxing referees and judges. I haven't discussed this much, but I've trained as a boxing referee and judge, and we did a whole seminar where they were trying to explain to us that essentially Teddy Atlas didn't know what he's talking about, and that Jeff Horn won that fight. I was trying to humble myself. It didn't really speak out too much there, but I clearly didn't agree with that. Although I can't see an argument being made, I just don't agree with the argument.
That is insane, but that is really insane. But I guess to bring it back to my previous thought, yeah, I don't see how anybody could have actually thought that Manny Pacquiao lost against Jeff Horn. He beat Jeff Horn up the entire fight, and he got hit a couple hard times at the end of the fight, and whatever. I'm moving on from that one. No more judgments on that fight. But Mikey Garcia, if he fights somebody else in the welterweight division, which I do not think that he should do, because the only way from where he started is to go up. There's no going down. He goes down, it just looks horrible. He has to go up in talent. Who's he going to fight? Who's going to fight Danny Garcia? He's going to fight Errol Spence again and get beat up again? He's going to fight Keith Thurman? No. He shouldn't fight any of these guys.
I think he should fight Ramirez at 140, Kenny.
That would be a great fight. I would love to see him go down. That would be completely amazing. But he's not going to do it because there's no money, in my opinion. There's no money in 140, not compared to the welterweight division. That's where the big money's at, you know? So Mikey Garcia, he's looking to be great in terms of finances. I don't see Mikey Garcia looking to be great as in like trying to go to the Boxing Hall of Fame or boxing history books, which he probably is going to go anyway. But I think he's going after money right now. I think him and his like boxing for greatness is over.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think he has been. You know, I think he sees the big picture is gather as much money and run with it as fast as you can. Because there are so many great fights at 140 for him. He could fight Ramirez. He could fight, Linares. He could fight, Teofimo. The list goes on for him. You know, he should be fighting like a Maurice Hooker, a Progress. These guys are there. He could, there's a ring robin there for him. Yeah. Devin Haney, all these guys are there for him, but instead he opts not to give what the fight fans are demanding. And it's weird because it's not a promoter that's blocking him from making these fights. It's an actual fighter this time that's making him is not giving us these fights. He's not, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. It's really hard. I think again this bid of campaigning still at 147. And I got to tell you this. I thought for sure that Jesse Vargas in those first 4 rounds was beating the stubbornness out of Mikey Garcia because it didn't seem like it was swinging their way. I believe we got BoMac here with us on the show right now. Coach BoMac, are you there, brother?
I'm here, brother.
Oh, hey, man. Welcome to Leave the Ring. I appreciate you coming on.
Man, first I want to apologize, man. You know what I'm saying? I didn't call. I'm 20 minutes late, 22 minutes late.
No worries. No worries. You're here now, man. That's all that matters, is you're here now.
Good deal. What's up, y'all?
Good, man. Hey, again, welcome to the show. I'm Dave Duenez. My co-host is Emil Carr, and then we got Kenny T on the line as well. All three of us host the show here. We're just excited to have you on here. So let me get this really quick. You got a fight coming up, and this is a really good fight. I'm actually really happy that we're going to be able to, watch it on because it's being televised on Impact Television, which is kind of a new station, right? So I'm excited about that because, there's been a lot of buzz between your guy, Damian Allen Jr. from Philly, facing Stevie Ortiz for the PA lightweight title. Damon had a stoppage, and obviously the big question is he fully back for the comeback against a really tough fight with Stevie Ortiz? How do you get a guy back mentally to be prepared for a big fight like this? And especially there's a lot on the line, just not that title, but it could lead to bigger things in his division, right?
Right. Well, the most important thing you do is just keep him in the gym and keep talking to him, and then just try to go over what the fighter did wrong in that fight. You know what I'm saying? And then just try to improve it. And then you give him a soft touch this next fight, which he had. And then I don't believe, me personally, I don't believe that Ortiz is everybody says it's going to be a really tough fight for him. I really don't believe it's going to be as tough as a fight that everybody believes say that it's going to be. I believe Damian's going to go in there and do what he has to do and just going to coast through to a win. Now, if the stoppage come, I'm sure he will be in shape to stop him.
All right, so I'm going to the books.
Well,
and
let me.
What should I bet on, Mr. McIntyre? What round? Let me know. So I'm trying to
bet
get
the
some
house,
money.
man. Bet the house.
Bet the house there, Kenny. You know, bet the house and the dogs and the cats that you have, you own and all that. Bet all that.
Right about that.
What? Let me ask you this. Every trainer works with their fighters different. I've spoken to Freddie Roach to all the way down and stuff. And some guys say, you know what? I don't watch tapes on the fighters we're gonna face. I like to just do my own thing with my fighter, and that's what we do. Let me ask you this, Bo. Do you watch tapes on fighters of the guys you're gonna face, or do you just solely just stick to what you guys are really good at and you perfect that?
No, I definitely watch tape on fighters. I definitely watched their last fight because, most of the time they're going to do what they did in their last fight. It's hard to change a fighter that is that probably have like 15 or 20 fights. It's hard to change him in just one fight. So I watch what he do good and I watch what he do bad. Then when he do good, we try to counter that, and when he do bad, we just try to capitalize off of that. And I won't never ask a fighter to do something that we haven't worked on in the gym. You'll never hear me get in the corner and say, do this or do that. And he'll look at me like I'm fucking crazy. Nuh-uh.
Right.
I'm asking him to do the stuff that we've been working on in the gym from day in and day out. And that comes from watching tape and watching film and watching him over and over. And that comes from working, doing what you guys do best in the gym over and over and over and over again. Just do it. You know what I'm saying? Just embed it in their mind. This is what you got to do. This is the thing that I'll be asking for you in the corner.
That sounds great. Amilcar, you got anything?
Yeah, absolutely. Coach BoMac, I'm not from Nebraska. When I think of Nebraska, I've always thought about the basketball team, the Cornhuskers. One thing that's been really interesting for me to see is kind of the development of Terrence and yourself as a coach. Could you tell us a little bit about kind of the history of boxing in Nebraska, how you guys came up, and maybe some of the successes and challenges you faced basing yourselves out of Omaha?
Well, as I was coming up, man, the team I was a part of, we had some national champions in that team from 1978 all the way up to like 1992, 93. There was some national champions, some guys that fought some great fighters out there like Roy Jones, Floyd Mayweather, Porter Whitaker, like those guys. We had guys from our team fight those guys. I fought the Spinks brothers because they was in our same region. The Sons, I fought them. When I was coming, I beat one, and one of them died. So we was our team. But as you turn pro, then that's when we start getting that stigma as those guys are use those for stepping stones, because we had Miles Strauss and running the boxing back then. If anybody know Miles Strauss is, he got more losses than anybody in the world, I believe.
Wow.
So in all the fighters that came out of Omaha, Nebraska, or around this area, it was handled by him, and so he just throw those guys in there. And so that's kind of that's the kind of stigma that we got as professionals. And all the guys that I was in come up with in the amateurs, they all got lost to drugs, alcohol, or did something else, went to the service or did something else. Nobody stuck to boxing. I was the only guy that from 1978 that stuck with boxing that long. You know, I fought all the way up until I was 37 years old. You know, I wasn't the best fighter and I wasn't the worst fighter, but I stuck with it, you know. And so how I got started in training was, you know, my trainer used to always say, man, stay behind, help me with these kids, because the pros always come in earlier, and then the amateurs come in late after school about 4 or 5 o'clock. We always got to get them about 3. And then so I would stick around and help them out. We worked the pads, and then I got interested in, you know, helping these kids, taking these kids on the trip, and one thing led to another, and part of that group was Terrence, one of the other coaches that's in the corner with me. He was part of that group, and so one thing led to another. Hey, Terrence was number 1 USA team, traveling all over the country. We traveling with him. We fighting Danny Garcia. We fighting Mikey Garcia. You know, we beating those guys, you know, hands down, man, without no problems. And then we turned pro. And when we turned pro, that's where the real challenge was at, because I know nothing about how to handle a professional fighter. I know how to train a fighter, but I didn't know nothing about handling a fighter. And so a brother down in St. Louis gave me a number by the name of Cameron Duncan, and he helped me out. Because I always said in my head, man, I will never let those guys go through what my career went through. Now, I started off pretty good, 3-0. Then I fought a dude 21-0, and I'm 3-0. And they lied to me. And so since then, I never had the trust of the trainer or the so-called managers was in the gym and shit. I was like, fuck this. I'm going to do this shit myself and shit. Plus other shit on top of that, you know, bullshitting around, gaining weight, all that shit. So, but when it came to somebody else's career, I made sure I walked on thin ice, man, because I didn't want to mess up nobody's career. Cause I didn't want their career to go through what my career went through. You know, so I combed the earth, man. I combed the earth and looked for somebody that could help me. And one of the persons that helped me was Cameron Duncan. And he got to a point to where he couldn't help us no more. And then so there on, I mean, me and Terrence just started doing it ourselves for like the last 2 years. Probably the last 3 years. We've just been doing them ourselves.
Yeah, I think B-Hop kind of paved the way on that one a little bit, because he got jerked around for a while by different managers, and then once he got to a level where he had a name that he could use on his own, he started managing himself.
Well, he beat Lou DiBella in court, remember? He had to get himself out of that contract, you know? So that was the big victory for him. Yeah.
No, that's very interesting, because like the average person that watches boxing, they think of, you know, New York City, Las Vegas, Southern California, maybe some other places. But what you guys have done is really put Nebraska on the map, much like how you guys will know obviously about Virgil Hill back in the day, the way he put North Dakota on the map.
Right. I fought up there in Virgil's hometown before. You know, I think he was a professional. I was still an amateur back then, but that was in like, I think, Fargo, North Dakota, or something like that, man.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Hey, let me ask you this here, Coach. What do you think the media sometimes gets wrong in doing their job when they're talking about fighters or fights that should happen, or about promoters?
You know, a lot of media, they speculate, man, and a lot of them get information from, you know, talking to guys like me or trying to call a trainer and then just like dig for information, or like they'll go get around the gym and try to find the weakest link to try to get some information off of. And sometimes that weakest link, they'll just say something just because they in the news, and they'll pull it up on their phone and say, well, you know, I did an interview and shit, and they try to use that as leverage and try to get into places and shit like that. But you know, I try not to, you know, try to get into that shit with media. And I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna be bold about it. I'm gonna make sure I can say it again.
What's the most annoying thing though for you, and say Bud? What is the most annoying thing right now that is typically asked of you guys?
I think the annoying thing it's never annoying to me, man. It's never, because You know what I'm saying? It's part of the job. But I think just the annoying thing is to Bud is they always ask him, well, why you get shot in the head? Or well, let's talk about you getting shot. He's like, damn, motherfucker, let's talk about me boxing, kicking these motherfuckers' ass. Y'all want to talk about
Let's talk about my actual job.
Yeah, I'm here because I'm beating motherfuckers' ass, but y'all want to talk about me getting shot. Thank God they didn't kill me. You know what I'm saying? So you shouldn't even want to dwell on that.
Right.
You should want to dwell on, how I'm getting better, how I'm beating these guys that's supposed to be my toughest my toughest opponent, but then I make them look so fucking average and B average or C average. But they fight anybody else, they look like world champions, but when they fight me, they look like they fucking just got out the amateurs. Let's talk about that. I think that's where he gets disgusted at, man.
I think people just I think people just try to find the negative things that they could have anybody say about anyone in the media. People want views, people want clicks, people want numbers. I'm glad that Dave, that you opened the floodgates for the Bud Crawford questions, because that is what I'm here for, baby.
Right. I've got a question.
Go ahead, Kenny.
Hey, I'm supposed to be talking about Damon Allen and shit.
Bud Crawford, if I could.
We can talk about whatever you want. But yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, man. I'm just fucking with y'all.
No, I mean, BoMac, you're obviously one of the most respected coaches in the game, and you've also got.
Well, I'm gonna stop you right there. You say that, but some of those writers, they don't think that. Just think Canelo and Eddie, what's his name? Reynoso won Trainer of the Year and Fighter of the Year last year by the BWAA, right? Okay, so I don't know if there other coach out there. Now I'll take my hat off to those guys. They did what they had to do. But Eddie Reynoso got one champion. Triple G moves up and fight an old man that's about 37, 38 years old and stop him. He moved up to 75, so he jumps up a weight class or two weight classes, whatever he call himself. But me and my team, we got two champions. We got 3 title defenses last year. We was the underdog going into the fighting the Japanese with Jamel Herring.
Yep.
And then we turn around, beat Lamont Roach. You know what I'm saying? Terrence make 2 good title defenses, and what else? We fucking got Hooker comes back. Hookers get a good fucking first round knockout. But I'm one of the respected coaches in the game, but they won't give us the award. I thought we deserved that this year. Not just only me, but it's a team of guys. You got to think about it. It's a team. It's 3 coaches. I'm just the head coach. I just make all the decisions and shit. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of those guys, Coach Saul, Coach Red, a lot of those, they be in the gym more than me because I'm out making deals and trying to get guys fights and trying to get guys lined up for title fights. So you got to give them credit too. But if I'm the most respected coach in the game, why come they didn't give us that award?
I could answer that question for you.
Those who know and respect you as much. But what you just said is exactly leads into my question, because I wanted to ask you about something that I'm sure you've been asked about as a trainer. The stoppage in the Wilder Fury rematch, specifically Mark Breland deciding to throw in the towel, and kind of the dispute afterwards between him and members of the Wilder camp, including his manager and co-trainer JD's. Could you just walk us through, what's going on in the corner from your perspective? That leads a coach to make that kind of a decision, and then kind of just tell us what you think of that decision that was made in that fight, specifically if you agreed with it or not.
Okay, so first off, you want to start is everybody got to be on the same page when y'all go into the fight. Everybody got to know what's expected of the fighter when you go into the fight. What is the game plan? Now, if you can't execute the game plan A and plan B, and it's just not helping, okay, then we having an off night. So we got to resort to something else, to plan C. Now, I see my fighter, he kind of getting hurt. His feet ain't under him and shit. He getting hit with some good shots. He getting pushed back. Wilder ain't used to getting pushed back. My fighter's getting pushed back. Oh shit. Okay, all right. He get hit with some good right. Oh shit, it was a good right hand. What you see? Did you see it? So they should be talking in the corner down when they down below. They should be talking. You see that? Did you see that? What you think? You know what I'm saying? Because I do.
Yeah.
If I don't see it, I'm asking one of the coaches. Did y'all see it? Yeah, I seen it. What you think? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, all right. We'll make an assessment when he come back to the ring, come back to the corner. Then instead of telling him shit, I'm start asking him questions. Did you get hurt? Is he hurting you? Are you okay? You know what I'm saying? Is he strong? Shit like that. Now, if you answer these questions like, yeah, okay, now I got to start adjusting what I need to say to him in the corner. Because obviously that's what I'm there for. Because he can't adjust in the ring because he's getting his ass kicked. So he's looking at me and he's looking at me and telling him what to do. Not only me, but the other coaches. And so that's what we should be talking. Now, in that corner that night, they should have been talking. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, okay. So, all right, Wilder get hit, he get hurt, and what the coach do? He's doing the towel. Well, do I think it was a good decision? Fuck yeah. He saved his fucking life probably.
Yeah.
He probably saved his life.
And
you know
the
what I'm
reason
saying?
I ask you specifically is because, A, you're obviously, like I said before, a highly respected coach, definitely in my eyes, but you run a team, right? I've seen footage of Terrence Crawford training with you. We actually met briefly at the Garden. I live here in the Bronx, New York, and you were there with your team of coaches. So you run kind of a coaching team. And being that you experienced what you did in your pro career where, probably managers didn't have your best interest at heart, I felt that you would be able to provide a really good perspective there in terms of the decision from a empathetic and caring coach to take care of his struggling fighter.
Right. You got to, man. You got to look out for your fighter because the fighter, like Deontay Wilder said, I wanted to go out on my shield. Yeah, you wanted to go out on your shield, but it looked like you didn't have that shield that night, man. So I'm going to save you. So you got kids to look after. Them kids is looking up to you. You got a wife, you got a mother, you got a brother, you got family members that's looking at me. And looking at me and say something happened to you. Just think that who they going to look at. Like, y'all see that special on Brian Gumble, what's it called? Sports, what's the name?
Sport.
Yeah. And y'all see they did the dude up in New York by Patrick Day? And he lived right across the street from from Patrick Day's mom. And then he said, every day I got to come in and I got to look at them. And she got to look at him. You killed my motherfucking son, man. I told you that I want my son boxing, but what you do, you want to satisfy your own little craving so you can have a good fighter. So you use my son as a good fighter. Yeah, I know my son wanted to box, but I asked you to do something for me. You should have did my wishes. Now this thing, she got to look at him, and they got to look at each other for as long as they live over there, brother. Don't nobody want that. Just feel like our buddy McGirt feel right now with Tadashi's song. You know what I'm saying? I commentated that fight, man. I commentated. Wow. I see this dude literally get killed in the fucking ring. Literally get killed. And everything that he did, his plan A, his plan B, his plan C, everything he did, he could not do that with that little fucking Puerto Rican. And Buddy said this to him. Whatever you're doing is not working. You just got to keep moving. Keep moving. And then he told him, man, I'm going to stop the fight, man. You're not looking good. No, I won't stop the fight. He stopped the fight. Look, a couple days later, the dude died. He begged that dude and he stopped the fight. So what really did the fucking right thing? I want to give a consequence-ass motherfucker. You giving me $10 million a year. I'm stopping the fight because that $10 million is not going to smooth out my soul over knowing that I let you get killed in that ring.
Yeah, I mean, $10 million isn't helping Mogamed. I forget how to pronounce his last name, but Abdul Salamov, I think, the guy in New York that took the brain damage because he went the full 12 with Mike Perez. And the thing is, people say Fury can't hit, but you keep hitting the man on his skull with those punches. You know, that's the kind of thing that could happen. What happened with Mogamed here in New York? So
Fury's a heavyweight. Of course he can hit.
Yeah.
Man, hey, listen, y'all. Listen. I don't know if y'all ever fought before, but that's a scary feeling. I promise you that. Listen, If I see my kids in the ring get hit with 2 or 3 good shots, stop, walk it off.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing it. Even the pros, I do it. Stop, walk it off. Shit. Most of the time, sparring partners come in, they got to walk it off damn near every day, or every day they spar. Because he don't give a damn, man. He going there trying to fuck you up because he paying you. He paying you to do a job to get him ready for his next fight. And so you got to be really close. I'm sure you got to be close to some Wilder's training sisters too, because he hit like a fucking brick house. Man, it's just a sad thing, man. It's sad.
It also makes you wonder what's going on in the head of his management, which is Shelly Finkel and Jay Diaz, when they're yelling at Mark Breland after the fight. Why did you stop it?
Because
I mean,
what are you about continuing to get money?
I would have told him to kiss my black ass, motherfuckers, because neither one of y'all can whoop me.
Hey.
So I'm trying to save your job. Shit. I'm trying to save you. I'm trying to save us. We a team. You know when somebody asked me down in Dallas this past weekend, he said, "Oh, BoMac, would you train Wilder for his next fight? You know, when it go up and no. Hell no. You know why? For the simple fact, a team lost. A team should go back and try to redeem their loss. Not just the fighter, the team. You got the coach, you got the strength and conditioning coach, you got the assistant coach, you got the pack coach. All of them should get together and see what we did wrong. Because obviously we did something wrong. Because my man wasn't the right. He wasn't right. Our man wasn't right that night. So as a team, let's fix it as a team. Because we went in there as a team. Let's try to fix it as a team. It's real simple, fellas.
They do seem like they need some help. So, you know, if they do ask for your help, you should definitely go help them.
I ain't helping nobody. Shit, I got enough already.
I hear you.
You got a baby shit on. You got to
way to look at it.
They take baths and shit. You got kids 26, 27 years old. Son, did you take a bath today? Huh? Did you wash your stinking ass clothes? Man, wash them gym clothes and shit. You know? Hey, man, I ain't got time for that. I only got enough kids.
I hear you.
And most of them, some of the amateur kids act better than the goddamn pros that think camp.
I guess
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, Kenny.
No, I was just gonna try to move a little bit away from Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder and start moving to the questions I'm most interested in, which is the Terrence Bud Crawford questions. I've been trying to get some questions answered forever. I'm curious. I want to know so bad, you know. I guess I have a 2-part question for you, which is how much influence, if any, do you have over Terrence Crawford and his upcoming opponents? And the second part, obviously, is can we get an idea of like a range of fighters of who he's looking at that are possibilities?
We want one fighter right now. His name is Manny Pacquiao. If we can't get Manny Pacquiao, we'll look for the next available opponent. But right now, I got Bob working on the motherfuckers in Saudi Arabia. Because Saudi Arabia want to fight. They just trying to find the money, which I know they got. But it's going to take a little time. We're looking around June or July. So,
awesome.
Now, if we can't get that done, like I said, we'll go to the next one. Mikey Garcia, he just said, if Chance is available, he'll fight him. So, I'll tap into that. You know what I'm saying? But how much influence that I got is about what Terrence wants. I'm not the fighter. I won't get in there and fight.
This is
what Terrence wants. If we can't get it, then we'll move to something that's reasonable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, is Pacquiao out? Is he far away? No, he's not far away. The money's around here somewhere. Somebody got to make the money. Somebody got the money. So put the money up. Let's have a good fight. We can't get that $40, $50 million. Then let's move somewhere else. We'll bring the scale down a little bit. Stay busy fighting until something else pop up for us.
It makes complete sense. I wholeheartedly agree with those moves. I don't know if the Manny Pacquiao thing will be possible because I've been telling Milcar this forever. I think Manny Pacquiao's running from Bud, and I think Bud will put a really bad beating on Manny Pacquiao. Just my opinion. I think Bud.
I think Bud will put a fucking whooping on anybody he wants to and shit. At this point in time, now Bud's so fucking mad, man. He's so mad. He's so mad. He mad at the boxing because these guys don't really want to step up this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
we know partly it got to do with the money and shit. But Bud like, man, fuck it, fight me. Just fight me, motherfucker, so I can show the world that I can beat you.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, the fight I like to see the most with Bud is with Errol Spence. And, you know, Errol's the one who's coming up with the reasons of Bud being on the other side of the street. But one thing that the Fury Wilder fight showed us is that when there's a big fight and, you know, it's got enough fan interest, Fox, PBC, Top Rank, ESPN can kind of join forces and deliver something special for the fans. So is Errol Spence fight something you would be willing to push for, especially what we saw in terms of the joint broadcast between Fury and Wilder recently?
I'm sorry, say that again?
I said, is the Errol Spence fight something that you'll push for now, especially since we've seen PBC and a Top Rank come together for Fury and Wilder?
Oh, hell yeah, man. Shit, that's a fight. You know, that's a fight that Terrence wants, man. He won 2 fights. Terrence, I'm going to tell you what Terrence wants. This is what Terrence really wants. He want to unify the division. He want to be considered one of the best welterweights in the world. And what that consists of, fighting motherfucking Errol Spence and fighting Manny Pacquiao. That's what it consists of.
Right.
Yeah. I would love to see both those. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry. BoMac?
Yeah, I would love to see it too. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you nice.
Okay, all right. I set the phone down for a minute.
Gotcha.
No. I think that's the fans that all fans want to see. So the fight that all fans want to see. I mean, even more than the Pacquiao fight. Because personally, I agree with Kenny. I don't really see that as being competitive at this stage in Pacquiao's career. I think it would be exciting. I think it'd be a big event. But, you know, I want to see 2 guys in their primes who both say that they're the best in the division go at it.
I think Pacquiao was too old when Terrence Crawford tried to fight him before. Terrence Crawford's been trying to fight him forever, but I thought Manny Pacquiao was too old then for Terrence Crawford. And it's not that Manny Pacquiao's not skilled. It's just that, it's not that Manny Pacquiao's not skilled. It's just that, Terrence Crawford is a whole nother animal. He's a beast.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, you know, shit. We just stay in the gym until and I stay in Bob's class. I keep calling him. I keep visiting till they come up with something.
All right, so I guess.
Well, trust and believe. Trust and believe, man. Terrence stay in the fucking gym, dude. He stay in the gym.
That sounds awesome. I could only imagine it. He always seems like he's fit and ready to go, so I could definitely see that being the case.
Oh yeah.
But I guess we have a couple of questions that our YouTube viewers wanted to ask you. So I guess we have 3 questions. I'm gonna go ahead and ask those 3 questions with a break in between them to give you a chance to answer them. The first question is from one of our viewers, Nando. His question is, does Terrence Crawford ever consider moving back down to super lightweight? With all the talent that's already there and potentially forcing dudes like Teofimo and Devin Haney to move up to 140 and, you know, reigning at the 140 division. Is that ever a possibility? You guys consider that?
No, I don't. No, he'll let those guys move up, man. He already conquered that division. You know what I'm saying? So why put your body through that and go through that when you already know you can beat them dudes, man? The Devin Haney's, the Ramirez's. You know what? I got a 140-pounder now that's going to take over that division, right? So we don't have to have Terrence move down there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I hear you. I actually completely agree with that choice. I think the bigger fish are in the welterweight division, although there's a lot of up-and-coming dudes at the 140-pound division. It's just like those are like small fish at this point, and Terrence Crawford is looking like a shark trying to fight another shark.
Right.
But
right.
Yeah.
What's the use of fighting those guys for? You know what I'm saying? Let's say move up to 47, then they demand or they get in a position to be mandatory and shit. But ain't no sense of going out there and fighting those cats, man.
Not only that, like you said, you cleaned out that division already. If anything, you want to unify in the 147. You know, you mentioned Cameron Duncan earlier. He's got a new fighter that a lot of people are high on. Jaron Ennis.
The only reason why they're high on him because he ain't fought nobody, man.
Well, I'm not
nobody.
Coach BoMac, I'm not suggesting that you fight him. I just wanted your assessment on where Jaron Ennis is. We all know that he's not on the level of a Terrence Crawford fight yet, but I just wanted to know your assessment of where you think Jaron Ennis is as a contender.
He's a good little fighter. He's a good fighter. The guys that they putting in front of him. I mean, you're supposed to dust those guys off to come in there with those good records and shit, 26-1 and shit from fucking Argentina and ain't beat nobody, or 26-2 from Mexico, from southern Mexico, that really ain't fight nobody. You're supposed to dust those guys off. You're supposed to look good, dust those guys off and shit. But he really haven't fought nobody. He's an all right kid. I like the kid. But he got to fight somebody. Man, let him fight Ugas or somebody like that. Or Sean. No. Porter might be a little bit too much for him. Ugas might be a little bit too much. You know what? Kevin Duncan called me a couple of weeks ago and asked me about Ugas. I told him, I said, man, you better keep Boots away from Enos. Better keep Boots away from Ugas.
I thought he beat Crawford. Sorry, not Crawford. Sorry, Porter. Sorry, Porter.
Who?
Ugas.
I thought Ugas beat Porter.
I agree.
Yeah, that was a good fight, man. That was a good fight. That could have tilted it with either way, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But you know, hey, they gave it to the Porter, so Porter got the win.
I guess
there you go.
While we still have you, let's ask another couple of questions that we have from our viewers. We have 2 more questions from our viewers. Let me get these questions in before.
Actually, Kenny, ask one more question. We gotta let BoMac go, bro. We got Diego on the line holding.
No problem.
Just one more question.
No problem. Sounds good. Last question then. This is the final question that came up. Is how do you feel about Errol Spence's trainer talking in a negative way about Terrence Crawford and his pay-per-view numbers?
Well, hey, that's fine and dandy. You know what I'm saying? He can talk all that shit, all he wants and shit, but we know if they say Errol did 350,000, we know he only did 125,000. See, one thing the public don't realize is the pay-per-view numbers always get pumped up. Okay? So him fighting on pay-per-view doing 350,000, which is really 125,000, maybe 100,000. Hey, that don't fascinate me. All those numbers and all that shit don't fascinate me because he got to fail to realize, you know, he don't got the inside scoop like I got the inside scoop. You know what I'm saying? And so I want to see what he gonna say when I beat the shit out of Errol Spence. Now, I've never been disrespectful towards Derrick James. Never been disrespectful to him. But for him to go out and say, oh, we only doing this and we only doing that, okay, all right. Then let's make the fight then just one-on-one at the fucking gym. And just you and your fighter and me and my fighter at the gym. How about we do that? How about we do that? Say, fuck the purse. Fuck the purse. Huh? How about we do that? Now, that's me talking. Now, I know those guys don't want to fight for millions and millions of dollars and shit, but that's how confident I feel about my fighter. We can go, we can meet. He live in Dallas, we live in Nebraska, that's 10 hours away. He come up 5 hours, I go down 5 hours. We can meet at a little small gym in the backwoods of motherfucking Oklahoma City, and they can get it on. How about that, Derrick James? Derrick James?
Coach BoMac, we got to bring you back on the show. And if you're
real soon. We don't need that pay-per-view. We just found out who won and who got their ass kicked. If we wear 18-ounce gloves, they can wear 12-ounce gloves, and we still going to stop his ass. Why?
I have one statement for you before you get out of here. Not a question, just a statement. And this is a favor. Please tell Terrence Crawford to start talking shit to every fucking body. That's, I think, the only thing.
He talks to everybody.
Well,
he talks to everybody.
He's
tell everybody, I'll beat you and your motherfucking mama too. How about that? That's talking shit.
No, he definitely talks shit, but he needs to make his shit talking in a funny way, like the Tyson Fury shit talking, where he makes people feel stupid.
I'm gonna tell you like this. Look, do Manny Pacquiao talk shit?
No.
Nah.
No, he doesn't.
All right, then.
No.
Martinez gotta talk shit.
You're right.
Right.
You're right.
Yeah.
But people,
I like the way Terrence Crawford talks shit in the ring. Me personally, that's where I believe it counts, is in the ring. You know, everything outside is just a whistle.
Yeah.
Right. Because them words ain't gonna fight for you. No fucking words ain't gonna fight for you. I don't give a fuck what you say.
Just like trainers ain't gonna fight for you either. You know, you got to put that work in where it counts, is in that ring. Hey, BoMac, man, Coach, I want to thank you for coming on, man. I really appreciate you coming through. We got to have you back on.
Now it's time for me to ask y'all some questions, okay? And I know you got a guest on wait. How have I met any of y'all?
We met very briefly at the Garden, Coach BoMac, when shoot, I forget which fight it was, but it was at the Garden. It was around the Felix Diaz fight.
The who?
Felix Diaz, the Dominican guy that
we beat the shit out of. Okay,
yeah,
listen, I'll be up there in a week and a half. I want all you cats to come up there, and I want y'all to approach me and take a picture together and shit. That's so I know who I'm talking to. I don't know I'm just talking to a real fucking radio show. I want to know these cats. I want to know y'all just like y'all want to know me, all right? I'm
absolutely.
We'll connect with you and we'll make it happen. We both live right here in New York City, so we'll definitely go down and see you.
Word, sounds good.
All right,
we'll
man,
definitely see you, brother. You take care, brother. It's been a pleasure.
All right, brother.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, take care.
Well, there you go. BoMac, I ended up I don't know what happened to my audio, so I was basically kicked out of the whole interview process, but luckily I was able to get back on. Let me get Diego on the line with us here on Leaving the Ring. Diego, are you there, brother?
Yes, I'm here, and I was just enjoying the whole talk with Coach BoMac. He was keeping me entertained, let me tell you.
I think he was keeping all us entertained.
He tells
Great
it like
dude.
it is. It's nothing but truth right there. The guy with the lot of experience, but he tells it like it is.
Absolutely.
You know
what I mean? That's the way to be. I mean, I was briefly listening to the comment of all the shit talking, and I mean, it's cool for the fans. The fans like the entertainment part of that, but yeah,
right.
Get in the ring and let your hands go to work. You know what I mean? We spend all day in the gym. Now let's go prove it. You know what I mean? All the talking, all the the nonsense. It's cool. It's entertaining, but that's not what's paying us. Getting in the ring does.
True.
Absolutely.
My only comment about the trash talking and him doing it a little more is that, sometimes trash talking entices the opposition to want to fight you just off of the trash that you're talking. And he seems to be a dude that everybody's ducking and dodging. And, I would love to see him fight the top dudes and for them to stop dodging, So that's only my thought,
Yeah.
Who are you hunting down right now, Diego?
Me right now.
Who you hunting down? Yeah, who you hunting down right now, man? Let me ask you that. And congratulations on your last performance, brother. It was great. It was good to see you. I mean, you looked really good. It just seemed like everything was coming to place with the way you're putting your punches together, the way you're moving. It just looked really spectacular. But so again, who are you hunting down right now at the lightweight division?
Diego?
Especially, last week there was a lot of talks about my weight class. There's the Ryan Garcias are the guys who are a big talk right now. They got Linares up there, and they have that fight pretty much made already. But I like to get in the mix with anybody. I've never dodged anybody. I've got into the ring with, a fractured hand. Still came with a victory. My last fight, not this one in Nashville, but the one before that. I got in the ring, and weeks before I was ill, I was sick, but I was like, my job as a fighter is to get in there and do work, man. I'll let my corner decide to do what they want, but when I get in there, it's all me. Let's go to work.
Did you see the Quadro fight or the Herrera fight?
The Herrera fight is the one I fought with the fractured hand. I took him out in round 3 or 4, I believe. when I fought on the first Golden Boy card, I had kidney stones the day before. You know, I got in the ring and did that too. So I'm known to everything in boxing. You know what I mean? You name a topic, and I've seen or done it. Anything. You know, battled managers. You know, just everything. I'm an experienced guy. I've seen so much and learned from it. And getting in the ring is what got me, like, even through my last fight. Mental toughness is that a lot of these younger guys who look like they're on top of there's so much clout. You know, it's to the ring with the experience with deep block. I think Gervonta Davis is the biggest talk that they're talking right now. Now I'm with Heyman. You know, so that would be the hunt that I'm looking for right there.
Gervonta Davis. Oh, I'd like to see that. I definitely would love to see that. What are your thoughts, though? Because you mentioned. Let me ask you this. What are your thoughts, though, really about, like, Ryan Garcia? Because you mentioned him right now. What do you really think about that kid?
He's fast. He's explosive. But I mean, I don't know if anyone knows, but he ducked a fight with me last summer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The question was, oh yeah, he did. Yeah, we were supposed to get a fight lined up, and he ducked it. He pulled out. So then Golden Boy came up with somebody else, and the week of the fight, he ducked me on that one too. I forget the guy's name. One of their prospect guys, said he broke his hand. But I mean, a lot of them are ducking the southpaw position. They're ducking the fact that, you know, I'm a fighter that can do it all. You know, and I've seen so much. They also like the record. My record is very deceiving. You know, the KO on my record. In the beginning, I was training with an amateur boxing coach. You know, the first 26 fights of my career, you know, they all went the distance, which I'm grateful for because I learned a lot. Every round you get in the ring, you learn from it. You know, and the more rounds that I put in under my belt safely is another win for me. And that's what's getting me now. Now I have a full training camp. I have Bones Adams in my corner. I have Blair Cobbs as coach, Brandon Christopher in my corner. There's a lot of experience there, and it's you guys saw it in my last fight.
I did.
I didn't get crazy. I went in there. I was thinking. I was using my head. I wasn't getting out of control. And when Diego gets out of control, it's when shit goes down the hill for him. Because I fight with my heart, and I just want to bang it out. But a boxer like myself who's in there, he's constantly thinking. It's dangerous.
No, and your ability to bounce back in fights and also from fights, you know, you bounce right back after the Teofimo Lopez loss, and the Dulé matchup was. A lot of people thought it was a really tough matchup. I know I did, and you just went through them in a very impressive way. So, you know, all credit to you for that. You know, the other thing
that fight with Teofimo, no one knew. Hospital weeks before that fight, you know, my dad was saying he was going to pull the card from under me and talk to my coach to go to the promoter and tell him that I wasn't going to. And I was like, Dad, you don't have no say. I have bills I got to pay. I got, you know what I mean? This is my way of income.
Living.
It's what I've done my whole life.
Living.
You can't, I'm like, you can't do that to me, Dad. You're going to pay my bills? No. You know what I mean? It's just things that fighters go through. You know what I mean?
Wait.
You know,
So hold on. Diego, hold on, because your phone keeps coming in and out. Explain to us again what happened with your dad in that Teofimo Lopez fight. What was going on?
Well, my dad, I was sick. I went to the hospital. I was getting shots because I couldn't keep anything that I would eat would just go right through me. And this happened, and I was weak. You know, I was weighing down, but I got real weak. And and yeah, I was just sick. I was battling some kind of stomach flu or something. But anyway, I got in the ring. My dad was gonna try to pull the fight, and I was like, he can't do that. Didn't give him authority. He has no business doing that. And I still got in the ring, and I still put on a crazy performance now in front of all the fans the way I did. A world-class fighter got in the ring with Teofimo. He barely survived the first, and then couldn't make out the second. Diego gets in there and gives a hell of a show. I won. I think I won that night. I won every fan out there in Texas, and boxing too. You know what I mean? It's who I am as a person. I fight with a lot of pride. Which is the reason why I got back up so many times, because I'm a warrior. You know what I mean? You're not going to keep me down. I'm down when I say I'm down. After that fight, I got a lot of backlash. Yeah, after that fight, I got a lot of backlash. You know what I mean? And I got it from the people who love me the most. And me as a father speaking out, I kind of get where they're coming from, but just hurtful. I was hurt after that fight, the way, family was saying he needs to quit, he needs to retire. But boy, what a difference a year makes when I get back in the ring and I do as well as I did. No one really understands what a fighter's going through, what he has to go through, the training, but not only that, the illness, just it's every aspect of fighting. And then I get in the ring now when no one even calls me to say, hey, good luck on your next fight. But I have 98 text messages after this big win. Hey, champ. Right. You know what I mean? It's something that I've learned. And through the years, you have to be mature and you have to know how to handle those types of things.
It's, they say, boxing is you could be the most celebrated fighter in the world, but then in the blink of an eye, you could become the most loneliest person in the world, right?
Yes. Oh, definitely. And I've been there and I've seen it all. So with that, I think it just makes you a better fighter overall. I'm a bigger thinker now.
So let me ask you this, because you lose to Lopez. How because nobody, you get a lot of armchair, coaches and guys that they spew their machismo through the internet, right? Like, this guy's done, or I could have done this and whatever, right? How difficult was it for you? Because mentally, you got to be super strong to come back from a loss, and this is not your first time; this is your second time, but come back from that and go and be humble enough to go, okay, I made some mistakes. I got to correct them. I got to go back to the drawing board. But how quick did you get to that point to realize that, or was that like a quick bounce back for you?
It's like, to be honest, and I haven't spoke too much about it, but I battled after that fight. I battled depression. I went into depression and I got real, low on myself, kind of just like, what the hell happened, in disbelief. But I have a very, very close friend of mine who's also my dietitian. Her name is Shannon Torres. And she spoke to me and said, look, man, this is what you're fighting. Until you say it and acknowledge it and kind of do your homework on it, you're not going to get through it. So I kind of broke down to her, and I did tell her, I said it. For the first time, I said I was depressed. And ever since then, things have gotten better. I've been going to the gym with the ability to want to be in the gym after something like that. I reorganized myself with a better team. That definitely helped me because I want to be in the gym. I now have a purpose of getting in and going to the gym, going to go on my long runs and be to myself.
I'm very glad that you
it's super hard. You have to mentally kind of talk yourself through it, and and I'm sure a lot of fighters go through this, because the thing that happens with fighters is they dedicate their entire life to boxing, and their family members do the same thing. They're known as Diego to Fuego, the boxer. And they dedicate every moment, and the family thinks, one day he's going to be a champ. But, hey, man, this is the real life. You may not have it. You may be on the B side. You don't. A lot of fighters, if they're not on the A side, they're not even getting taken care of. They're on the B side, and it's even harder to be on the B side because you're fighting not only the opponent, you're fighting the crowd. A lot of times you're fighting the judges. Going into this fight, I knew where I was. I was a B side. I found this kid's backyard. I went out into that arena and I got so many boos. But by the fourth round, I could hear the crowd change. They said, Austin, throw something. Austin, do something. Man, that motivated me. The fuego under me just lit up and it got on fire. And
right, you're like, that's when you start
I got him. Yeah, I got him. Yeah, I mean, I had so much fun out there in Nashville. Let me tell you, after that win, I won. Not only did I win the fight, I won the fans. I won the crowd. I won my career back. You know what I mean? Like those are big. I won Diego, the fighter back. It reappeared. I've done things outside because I've learned. I've done things outside the ring. Well, today, it's ironic. I get on the interview, and today our offer got accepted on a space here in Las Vegas for a boxing studio. So the reason why I call it a boxing studio is because it's gonna be available this summer for training camps for professional fighters. Throughout the day, okay. I'm gonna be working with executive clientele on the executive level. Anyone who wants to learn boxing by a professional. And I have the record and the videos to prove it, the belts to kind of show for it. They're going to be able to box, and you guys are the first that I've actually spoken out about it because I didn't until the contract was signed and done with. I wasn't going to speak on it, but you guys heard it first. Awesome. Diego Tufuego will have a boxing studio, a private, nice, upscale boxing studio that'll be ready for. Doors to be open by this summer.
That's awesome, man. Congrats, Fuego. Congrats.
Really quickly before, 1 second, I just want to rewind to something that you said, and I want to point it out because it's very important. It's something that people really don't take serious these days. Mental health is something serious. Mental health is something real. People don't take it serious. It is the realest thing. It's like the biggest, I would say, disease or sickness that someone can have. People don't treat it that way, but it is real. Mental health can defeat anybody. So, I'm glad that you mentioned the struggles that you have gone through and how you had to pick yourself up out the dirt. And you mentioned the mental health issues that you dealt with, because I think it's very important for everybody else to hear that. Everybody who's not a professional, also the rest of the boxers and the boxing fans that do listen to the show. I think it helps everybody. So I just want to thank you real quick, and I'll let you get, I guess, back to what you're saying, unless anybody else has something to add.
You know what, I'm going to piggyback a little bit off of what Kenny was saying. Diego, I don't think a lot of folks, well, especially you could be a fight fan for 20, 30 years, and watch it. I mean, myself, I didn't compete at the highest level that you did, but I was a competitor in wrestling and boxing. But, I don't think folks understand that when you're a competitor, you kind of like, you dig yourself into this tunnel of I'm indestructible, right? And you tell yourself, you mentally have to, not physically, but mentally, you have to end up like getting yourself prepared that you are indestructible, that nothing can stop you. And then when it doesn't go your way, how difficult it is to pick those pieces back together, because you have told yourself for so long, I'm this person, but then you find out that you are only flesh and blood, and you are going to make mistakes. I remember, I trained in San Jose as a kid and all that, and one of my coaches, because I used to hate to do the same routine over and over and over, which is the 1-2, right?
Correct.
And I was like, man, I was like, Coach Lupe, this is fucking boring, man. Like, I want to learn how to throw the hook. And he told me that stuck with me. He said, Mijo, there's always another guy out there training to beat you. So you got to perfect the simplest things in boxing. And you got to tell yourself every day you're the greatest. And I didn't understand that because I was so young. So can you touch in a little bit about that, bro? Because, you know, that mentality is something that either you have it as a fighter or you don't.
Right.
Right?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yep. That is very true. The motivation, the drive you have for something, the love you have for something, is created. It's within. I've been working with the Clark County School District, here in Vegas, for a couple years now, and they've always invited me to, career day and stuff like that with the schools. So, and one thing that I preach to all the kids is, and you guys know what it is. You see it on my trunks when I get in the ring, and I'm a knockout. The IMAKL on the back of my trunks, and I'm a knockout is having the confidence, to conquer. Knowing and believing on the person on the inside, because that's where everything starts. You have to know it. You have to believe it in order for, anyone else to believe in you. They can't believe in you unless you believe for yourself. You know what I mean? It starts from within. And I learned that at a very early age when I stepped a foot into a boxing ring. I got respect for my opponents. And boxing taught me so much about myself. That's what I kind of tell everybody. Once you get in the ring and you learn to get respect from someone who's trying to do the same thing you're doing and knock their head off, it kind of tells you if you're sink or swim, And if you decide to keep pushing forward, then you do well in it.
Man, yeah, bro. I'm happy, man, that you're back, and I'm happy that you got the Vegas thing. It's really good. I think all of us here are very happy for you. I think Emil probably has a question for you. Emil?
I was just obviously, it's super commendable what you're doing, but as a public school teacher, which is what I am, most of the time, I do this, once a week. Full time, I'm a public school teacher. I just really want to commend you for the fact that you've gone into the, local school district and have given back to the next kids, the next generation.
Oh, definitely. That's always been who I am. You know what I mean? There's a lot to me that people don't know about. A lot of people don't know that I've educated myself in the real estate market, and I'm a licensed real estate agent, a working one. I sold a home to Joe Cortez, referee Joe Cortez's assistant, and
really,
I sure did. Once he found out, he put me on the show, and we spoke about it. And I walked out of the interview, the show with them, and I gave her a business card, and it's something that I've learned growing up. And I was touching a little bit about it when your family members and everyone around you look at you as just one thing, but I want to be able to do more because I do have a 3-year-old who looks up to me. I've never really taught him boxing. He sees me, because I'm like, hey, put your hands up, do this, do that. But for him to see me, and this is a real big eye-opener for me, for him to see me on TV, right, and I'm a right-hander who boxes southpaw, and for him to see me and imitate me to the T of what I do was very surprising to me. He doesn't know to stand that way. He's supposed to stand the other way. He's right-handed, but he stands up like Daddy does. And I was like, wow, that really got me right there. I'm like, I didn't teach him that. I didn't show him that. He just picked up and learned from it. So I'm a big role model to him. So I have to be very, very careful in what I do. I have to take care of myself, like we mentioned already. I take care of my health, my brain, so that I can, continue to be there for him. He looks up to me. I've educated myself in the real estate market. I've got some big plans, here in Vegas and maybe even out of state. I'm looking at buying some investment homes and going that route. I'm learning the business just like I've learned boxing. But yeah, a lot of things that you can do and not just be that one, that one person. And it's super lonely when you just know how to be one person. After that fight, when everybody was saying you need to retire, you're doing real estate now. Just stick to that, do that. Like focus more on that. It was like it was something that I didn't want to accept. I'm like, that's not. No one knows that I was sick, and I went in there. I brawled, for 7 rounds. I'm like, no. I don't want to end my career that way. I'm going to do it the smart way because I'm better than that. I'm not going to just lose the fight and because everybody else is telling me, oh, you're done. I'm going to show them different because I'm very competitive. And it's in my nature to prove people wrong. And when I'm done, I'll say I'm done. Like, I'll be done with it. I'll decide. That'll come from me, not anyone else.
You sound like a very smart dude. You definitely seem like you got a head on your shoulders and like you got it together.
Yeah, sure does, man. Diego, I want to.
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry. No, go for it. What were you gonna say?
No, I have a real close friend. My family members, I get because I'm a father now. That they worry for me. They worry for my health. They want me to be around. But for them to say that to my face just kind of hurt me. And I recently, after I got back to Nashville, I sat down with my parents and I told them, you guys hurt me. You guys hurt my heart. You guys hurt my feelings. It wasn't cool for you guys to tell me that to my face. Like, it was hurtful. Next time, please just don't tell me those things because I need to be motivated. I don't need to be kicked when I'm on the ground already. So we had a real personal talk. I said, I understand. I have a son too, and I do want to be there for him. And I want to be there healthy. But as far as you guys have to learn how to communicate a little bit better because I have feelings. I'm human. I may look like the Hulk in the ring, but I'm human. My feelings do get hurt. So I think I finally got through to them. They learned, which is another reason why I went to Nashville by myself. My family members didn't go with me. My brother didn't go. No, he was in training camp. But I went alone. I did that for a reason. I just wanted to go to work and come back home, pick up my son on Sunday morning, and just enjoy the day like any other day with him.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to do it. So, you started young. You started in the ring by yourself, so it only makes sense, Man, I really appreciate you coming on, brother. It's great to hear that you're doing all this and that you feel. You sound full spirited. You know what I mean? Like you're ready to go.
Yeah.
I hope you get these other fights that you're kind of hunting down and stuff. I hope that man, I still would like to see you against Ryan Garcia, to tell you the truth. Hopefully Ryan Garcia's camp here listens to this interview. Yeah. They say, okay, let's give it a shot.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. I'm a big threat to a lot of the guys in my weight division, and I'm not the type that's going to go out there and start kicking and screaming for attention. But low key, a lot of guys have been ducking and dodging me. They say, Diego's washed up and he's done, or he's old. And I've heard that too. But dude, look what I did to a 24-year-old.
Right.
He was looking for a way to weasel his way out of the ring. I know when I'm well aware of where a low blow is because I have the same compartment downstairs. I know where to hit. If I wanted to hit low, I know where to go. The referee for that fight, Jack Reese said, anything on the belt line is illegal because both of our trunks were sitting up high. So in the dressing room, he said that. And once again, when we got in the ring, he mentioned it again. So as far as him crying for a low blow, that was just nonsense. It was him being uncomfortable in the ring in front of his fans. There was a lot of pressure, and he wasn't looking so hot. And mentally, I knew once I smelled some blood, I started jumping on him. And I wasn't going to stop going to the body, not at all.
Yeah, we saw that on that night when you did face him. Well, brother, I appreciate you coming on, man. We got to get you back on again real soon.
Anytime.
And hopefully,
you guys have my number.
One last thing I wanted to say, David, to Tu Fuego, what you're doing outside of boxing is pretty inspiring, and there's so many countless ex-champions, people that have made millions of dollars that can't transition to kind of a life after boxing and financially and business-wise. I'm hoping you can figure out some way to spread the successes that you have and to teach other people how to do what you're doing.
Oh, trust me, I've been going over a couple of ideas of doing so, because I know I've reached the highs, I've reached the lows in this sport. Like I mentioned, I battled managers. I know the promotional side. Maybe later in my career, when I'm done, I would like to be a boxing manager, and a manager who's serious about his fighters in a way of making sure they're taken care of, not only in their fights but outside of the ring too. I think it's very, very important.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Again, man, we'll get you back on, and hopefully you got something lined up, and love to chop it up with you. Here we go. Diego Magdaleno here on Leaving the Ring. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, brother.
I love it, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Tu Fuego.
That is definitely one smart dude right there. He knows what he's doing outside of boxing. Very much appreciate what he's doing outside of boxing for the youth. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, same here. We got scheduled at 7 p.m. We got David Benavidez. They just text right now. They said they'll be ready at 7. Hey, do you guys want to call Marcos Caballero, the head trainer, to Roman Gonzalez and congratulate him?
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's go for it. Yeah, definitely.
All right, let me call him in here, and for our listeners as well, so that
Let's also see if we could get some more questions from our, valued listeners for our guests tonight, because we've had some good ones on the chat. So, guys, if you're online, you can, of course, use our chat feature. It's one of the benefits of us being on YouTube, so take advantage of that. Kenny's been more active than me, and definitely more active than Dave up there. But I've been looking at it, and, shout out to Wildcard Show podcast and the Renee Box Young, and obviously to Amy Green, who's a new one here on our chat. So if you guys got any questions, too, please just send them our way, please.
So let's see.
That would be great. Yeah, that would be great. I'm definitely active on the chat. Yeah, you can communicate with us at any point, all times. We'd greatly appreciate
I'm sorry,
that.
but the person you called has a voicemail box that has not been set up.
I think that's us trying to get the phone call through, right, Dave?
Yeah.
Off the.
It'll be all right. We'll get it shortly. But yeah, man, we've had some great interviews today. BoMac was amazing, very honest, truthful dude. It'll definitely be a pleasure to meet him. He said next week at MSG, right? And yeah,
he said it'll be a week and a half. I'm guessing it's not this weekend, but the following weekend.
A week and a half?
I think that's what he said. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Well,
I'll research his fighters anyway.
Any interest, Kenny? I mean, you're based out of here, native New Yorker, in the Konaki Helenius fight Saturday at the Barclays. Any interest in going to that?
Why not? If we could find a ticket at a reasonable price that's not going to break my bank, I am so for it.
I honestly think that's going to be a pretty exciting fight.
It should be. Kanaki's an exciting fighter. I like him.
But Helenius.
Let me see. I'm going to give David Benavidez a call, guys, to see if I can get him on right now, since I can't get a hold of Marcos. So, wait a minute.
No problem. No problem.
All right, we're calling David Benavidez right now. See if we can get him on the line. Talk some boxing here with him.
Hey, what's up,
Hello?
brother?
What's up, brother? Is this
How you
Dave?
guys doing? Yeah, this is David.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for coming on our show, bro. Really appreciate it. This is Dave Duenez with Leaving the Ring. I've interviewed your dad and your brother Jose a million times. I was actually there when your brother got signed with Top Rank. He was at the Wild Card. I've seen tape on you, bro, when you were like 15, 16 years old from Emily. So it's great. It's really. I'm really happy to have you here on the show with myself and my co-host is Amilcar and Kenny, bro. So thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate it so much.
Thanks a lot, bro.
No, definitely, man. I appreciate you guys for inviting me on the show, man. Thank you so much.
Well, we're
Hey,
the
so
fans
I
of
want to
work,
ask you
so
something.
go for it, Dave.
Exactly. Yeah. Dave, I want to just jump right to it, bro. I want to ask you something here because it's really been on my mind, and I've talked to a tons of fans about it. My question, maybe you can answer this. We know that Canelo is the cash cow guy, okay? We know that he's the guy that everybody wants to fight. But when they mention him in your division, 168, how do you feel that they put him at number one and then everybody else, including you, are like right below him? Don't you think he's supposed to do something at 168 besides just fighting Fieldings to get above your name?
Oh, definitely. You know what I mean? I feel like, I feel like they just give him that number one spot because of who he is, because of what he's accomplished. And because of that, I understand it. But, as of right now, I feel like if he wants the number one spot at 168, he's going to have to either beat me, or Colin Smith or any of those guys. I think, I don't know if he's got the fight with Billy Joe Saunders yet or whatever's going on. But, we were definitely open to a fight with Canelo if we would have got an offer or anything like that, So we're just waiting like everybody else. So, I'm always going to be here, as soon as the opportunity presents itself, I'm always going to be here for the fight. Maybe by next year, maybe his next fight, we could get something going on because I feel like that's the fight that the fans want to see at 168. I don't in the United States, I don't think, anybody else wants to see a fight between, him and Calvin Smith. I think the fight that'll be the best fight for us Mexican fans in the U.S. is probably me and Canelo. So, I feel like I'm in a great position right now, for something like that. So, we're just waiting.
Are you surprised that Canelo them haven't pressed like on your name? Because I think that's the biggest fight at 168. No diss to like Callum Smith and the other guys or like B.J. Saunders, but what we've seen, what Canelo's been doing is campaigning the fighting the best, but I haven't really heard him mentioning your name, like putting your name in that mix. Does that surprise you or no?
Yeah, it's a little surprising. It is, but I feel like he just knows that I'm, extremely young. I just barely turned 23 years old, so I feel like, what he thinks is that he sees me as the, I'm a fan-friendly fighter. The fans love to see me. And I put on these great fights for the fans. So I feel like, maybe by the end of this year, I feel like my name's going to be way bigger than it was last year. So I feel like, maybe, at the end of the day, he's a businessman, so he wants the fights that get him the most money, So I feel like if they just wait for that fight, I think it could be a bigger fight next year than it would be right now. You know what I mean? But I definitely feel like I'm the best at 160. Yeah, I feel like I beat Canelo, I beat Colin Smith, I beat all those guys. I just need the opportunity to do it.
We agree with you here.
I agree.
I think all of us agree.
I've been saying at 168 now for a bit. How would you rank the other fighters at 168? I haven't heard you mention Caleb Plant, but how would you rank the guys at 168?
I feel like, all of us up there were champions for a reason, you know what I mean? So, it's not in my power to say, number one, number two. Obviously, I feel like I'm the best up there. I feel like who would give me the most competition, from first to last would probably be Colin Smith, then Billy Joe Saunders, and Caleb Plant. I really don't think too highly about Caleb Plant. I feel like he's the weakest link out of all of them. I really don't think too, I'm not really too impressed with Caleb Plant, but at the end of the day, he is a champion. So, hopefully I get that fight as well, too. I'll take his belt gladly.
I love how humble
Well, that was
going to
be my next.
I love how humble you are. You're very, very humble, always. Even when you win the fight, no matter what fashion you win it in, you're always super humble. Love that. Would love to.
Yeah, it's just that, at the end of the day. Yeah, at the end of the day, bro, we're all world-class fighters. I'm just not going to shit on somebody's name just because I don't like the guy. At the end of the day, I want to fight the best of the best. That only gives me more credibility. What do I gain out of fighting somebody that I just talk shit about the whole time? at the end of the day, these guys are world class fighters, and I'm gonna treat them like that, and I'm gonna prepare for them as such. So the personality is one thing. I cannot like a guy, but when it comes to boxing, I put that all out the ring. I if there's talent there, I'll give props to where props is due. I'm just not gonna shit on somebody because I don't like somebody. But at the end of the day, my goal is being the best boxer and the best super middleweight in the world right now, and I feel like that's what we're working towards.
I think that each and every one of us here on Leave It in the Ring agree that you are the best boxer in your weight class. I think we've said it multiple times. Now,
absolutely.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Quick question regarding a thought of mine, because like David said earlier, Canelo never mentioned your name or anything like that. Do you feel that Canelo is like purposely dodging you?
I mean, I wouldn't say purposely dodging me. I just feel like he has so many options from fighters to fight. I feel like definitely if you talk to him about a fight with me, I feel like he recognizes and he sees that, I'm not the easiest fighter out of all of them. I'm probably one of the, toughest fighters out of all the fighters he could pick from, because, realistically, he could pick from guys from 160 to 168 to 175. So there's just so many guys. I don't feel like he's ducking, because I feel like, he's an amazing fighter and he knows he's an amazing fighter. But how much fights does he have left in his contract? Now I feel like Canelo has to really move like really strategically, because, he's not going to take all the toughest fights, all of them first. He's probably going to take the easiest fights and then maybe the toughest fights last. So what does he have, like 5 fights left in his dad's contract, something like that?
I'm not sure the exact amount of fights that he's left on the contract. I think it was a total of 6 to begin with, and he's already fought like 3 or 4 of them, something along those lines. Don't quote me.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like whatever happens in this camp, that's what he does. Whatever strategy he uses. But I feel like that's going on. I feel like maybe he's saving, like, I don't know. He would probably save the hardest fight for the last one or something. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I feel like they definitely talk about that fight. I feel like there would be potentially a big fight. A super fight between me and him. I just feel like I would want a little bit more time just to get my name out there more to the people, and beat these other champions. So by the time we do make that fight, it actually becomes a super fight. I don't want to be that young Benavidez fighting that he can get an opportunity. I want to beat all these other champions, and by the time I get to Canelo, I'm gonna be a solidified champion, and it's not gonna be a walk in the park for anybody. I'm definitely going in there to beat Canelo whenever it is.
Let me ask you this, because there was kind of a dry spell for a little bit. David, are you having problems getting fights? Has there been an issue of other fighters wanting to face you?
It's not really an issue. It's just that, how the things came about. I was supposed to fight in January 25th, but because of Earl Spence, what happened to him, that kind of got pushed back. And something, we're just looking for a fight date with my fight. I was supposed to fight Ildrum, the guy who had fought Anthony Durrell. He was the number 1 contender in line for the WBC. And, just a couple weeks ago, we got, some news saying that he was hurt or something like that. So that kind of messed everything up. I don't think it's an issue fighting fighters for me. I just feel like, everything gets on short notice. They barely let us know, a couple weeks ago that his shoulder was injured. And now, my promotion company's kind of scrambling to fight, fighters, venues and stuff like that. But, I'm definitely going to be ready for whatever comes my way. I've been training for a couple of weeks already. I think I got like 5 weeks training. So, I'm looking to get a date soon. So I think I'm going to fight sometime in April or May. So, I'm just staying ready right now.
He's a tough guy, but he's also been EDs as well. He's a bit of a rough and tumble, dirty fighter at times as well. So you were saying, David?
Yeah. Well, I feel like that style I've seen with Ildrum, it's a style I've seen before over and over again. So I feel like, steroids or not, I'll knock him out either way. He keeps taking the steroids if he wants. It doesn't really matter. It's not going to change the outcome of the fight one bit.
I love that. I love that
I was
feeling.
going to say that because David's been around I mean, dude, you've been around for so long. I mean, I don't even, I think that fans that are finally noticing you don't know the history, the rich history that you have in the ring. I mean, I remember hearing when you were giving Kelly Pavlik fits. Could you tell us a little bit about that when you got in with Kelly Pavlik, right? You got in there with him, didn't you?
Yeah, that was definitely when, basically because I didn't have a big amateur career. My brother was, he was an amateur superstar. He had like about 200 amateur fights. He had won national titles all over the world. So, but me, I never really taken it serious like that as for amateur fighting, but I had been boxing my whole life. So, I was, then I really dedicated myself, really took it serious from 13. I think by the time I was 13, I had like 9 years boxing already, but I didn't really take it serious, like 100% serious. So when I turned 13 all the way to 15, I took it 100% serious, training 4 times a day. So I was ready to go at 15, but my dad wanted me to see how I would do with the with the world champion. If I got the opportunity to spar Kelly Pavlik. So I got in there, man, and I just that's why I just shined at. That's really gave me the motivation and the confidence I needed in myself because, I was touching Kelly Pavlik up with some great shots, and even everybody who there was like, man, this little kid really is something special.
I heard, man.
So
yeah.
So from there, we just basically used Kelly Pavlik as like our stepping stone on our way in, just to see how we could do. I sparred him. I sparred Gabriel Rosado. Triple G, before Triple G even made his pro debut, his U.S. debut before he fought in the HBO.
Right.
I sparred him for about 4 years. I sparred, and I'm, now that I'm basically just gonna say everything. Every world champion I've gotten in the ring with, I've hurt. So that's why I give it all my confidence from, because, I mean, and I'm not lying. You could ask anybody who I was ever in there with them. I've hurt all of them. So I mean, that's just why I have so much confidence.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I've spoken to either the fighters or even the trainers, and like I said, I've known your dad and your brother for a long time. I've had the pleasure of meeting them. I've had the pleasure of having them on the show. I had all 3 of you guys when I used to own a digital boxing magazine. You guys were, all 3 of you guys were the front cover. So I have followed you guys throughout your whole career because of Emily as well. Yeah, I mean, I can't wait, man. I can't wait to see them put more and more guys in front of you so that we could see the full development, because I think that's what we all been waiting for, is that coming out party. And I was always wondering, like, what's going on? Are there somebody like putting roadblocks in front of him of getting these bigger fights? Like I said, I don't hear Canelo calling you out. I don't see Canelo jumping up and down. And to me, even though you mentioned right now, you're saying that you want to get bigger, you want more recognition. I still feel that if that fight happened, that is the biggest fight at 168. And if we wanted to see Raza come out for a fight like that, I think all Raza would come out to see you guys mix it up.
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely have a big following. Obviously Canelo, he's a cash cow and everything, but I feel like this is gonna be like, if the fight happens, it'll be an extremely interesting fight. Because I'm never gonna let nobody walk over me. I've been way too, I've worked way too hard, and I've sacrificed so much of my life that that's just not the way I'm gonna go out. My mindset is always that I'm gonna win, so it's gonna be an extremely competitive fight. It'll probably be the fight for the decade. So I feel like it. Everybody's gonna win in that fight. I feel like it's gonna be an amazing fight.
I love your attitude, man. I love the way that you feel. Lots of confidence and super humble still. I would like to ask you a question for one of our YouTube viewers. This is from Eric Adiza. It's a multiple part question, so you're probably going to be talking for a little bit after I ask this 3-part question. It's, okay, do you think that you can stop Caleb Plant? If and when you fight, will you go for the KO? And do you think Plant's speed would make the fight difficult for you?
I definitely think I could stop, Caleb Plant, because the thing about Caleb Plant is, he starts off very well, but the type of fighters that he fights, these guys don't press the action, and then these guys don't have a jab. They're not good combination punchers. I press the action for one. I have an amazing jab, and I throw punches and bunches. I think my size, I'm 6'2", I don't think Caleb Plant has ever seen something like that. And I feel like I know I have the punching power to stop him, whatever. I can mix it to the head, to the body. It's that's the thing about myself, that I'm very creative in my punches. And I feel like he's never seen nothing like that. And especially with me, the second half of the fight, I always do better. And if you pay attention to Caleb Plant, that's when he kind of dies down. What happened when he fought Jose Uzcategui? He did amazing the first 6 rounds, and then the last 6 rounds, he was getting touched. He got hurt. He got a big cut. The thing about Jose Uzcategui is that he didn't have a jab for one. He was throwing the same punch over and over again, and when he had him hurt to the ropes, he didn't press the action. You know what I mean? So you've seen that, and not only that, like you see what type of the difference between the fighters. When I fought Porky Medina, that was an amazing fight. I took Porky Medina apart. When Caleb Plant fought Porky Medina, it was probably like the most boring fight I've ever seen in my life. You know what I mean? Nobody talks about that fight. Everybody forgets about that fight. Everybody forgets that, Caleb Plant couldn't even hurt Porky Medina. And, I demolished Porky Medina when I was 19 years old.
Right.
So I feel like this guy he's just super hyped up. He fights he fought Mike Lee, who's he's never been up there with any contender and any good type fighter. And then he fights this other guy, Feigen Boots, which is 5'9". He got knocked out like 2 times already. I mean, yeah, he had a lot of knockouts, but I went on the box circuit, the people he knocked out were like, it was horrible records, you know what I mean? And I'm not lying, you can go check on box circuit of this freaking thing, So, and then this guy, he's just super hyped up, man. Like, I don't know, he thinks he's the second coming of Floyd Mayweather. But at the end of the day, this guy has 20 fights with 11 knockouts. Mayweather, when he was coming up, he had mostly knockouts. This guy is, what is he, like 27 years old? So he's been around for a long time. He's only had 1 belt. I just turned 23 years old and I've won two world titles already, 2 WBC world titles already. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely looking to knock Caleb Plant out. I would not let that fight go to the distance.
The one thing I wanted to add to that, David, is that your inside fighting is terrific, as is your outside fighting. So it's hard to see a space where Caleb Plant would be able to be consistently effective against you. I think your jab from the outside and your inside fighting on the inside would help you with that KO. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. And then the thing now is I just turned 23 years old, right? And I feel like even in the gym, I'm hurting these sparring partners. I feel like my man strength is finally coming about. So I'm very excited to see how that plays out. With all these fights coming up, I'm feeling stronger than ever. Now I got the experience. I got the championship experience. You know what I mean? I've gone 12 rounds. I've been in there with great fighters. Anthony Durrell has never been stopped. He's in there with Badu Jack. He's been in there with a lot of great fighters. I was the first one to stop him. A lot of people say it was because of the crowd. I mean, that's all bullshit. What happened when I was hitting him to the body the last round? He kept running. I was mixing it up. He didn't know what to do no more. The freaking the referee had to save him, man. Like, you know what I mean? If they want to throw the towel in that time, I'm telling you, I would have knocked him out.
It's crazy, man, to hear you say. I didn't even think about that. You just turned 23, and you said your man strength hasn't even kicked in. Wow, bro, that's freaking crazy. That's scary. That's really scary. Yeah.
I look forward to seeing what
that is.
Yes, like, I'm very excited. I feel like I'm a veteran in the ring too. This is my 8th year, professional. I turned pro when I was, 15, 16. So, I feel like I'm finally in the position where I want to be. I've been in championship fights with great fighters. I've gone 12 rounds. I've seen different types of styles. I've seen Russians, Mexicans, the boxing style, the people just running around the ring. So, I feel like I'm ready for anything at this point.
While we have you here, a little bit about the early beginnings in Mexico when you were fighting there as a teenager. What were those years like?
It was definitely a different experience. Now that I see people, there's some prospects now that they just don't know how good they have it. You know what I mean? They fight in big stages. You know, they get paid good money. You know, when I came up, I didn't get paid my first 8-7 fights. You know, because I was fighting in Mexico too. You know, we're fighting in different areas. You know, we're fighting like some little like underground fighters, but there are some, you know, tough fighters. You know, until like 6-7 fights. And then when I turned pro, I did my pro debut in the U.S. You know, I mean, that kind of just jump started me because, you know, I just getting the confidence of being in the ring, being with smaller gloves. So when I got to the U.S., I turned pro at the U.S., you know, I started fighting better fighters. And just because I had the experience of being in the ring, you know, my earlier fights, you know, I was getting good knockouts. I think my first fight that I was super proud of is when I fought on the Showtime for the first time. I had fought this guy. He was, what's his name? Something more Romero. The people I was with didn't think I was going to knock him out. I knocked him out in the first round. Then the next fight, I fought some guy named Philip Jackson. He was 16-1 with 15 knockouts. Knocked him out in the second round. You know, so I just, the level of opposition kept improving and I kept shining with it, you know what I mean? So I feel like I wasn't given anything. The position I'm in, you know, I definitely earned for myself, you know, and that's why I just have so much confidence in myself, you know. I've been through it all. I've been there, done that. You know, and I just feel like now I just want to fight the best fighters in the world, and, you know, just be what I know I can become. And that's one of the greatest boxers in super middleweight history. That's my dream, and that's my goal.
That is amazing, and we believe in you. Now this is, I guess, my last question. You know, I'm all about the money and all about these dollars, so I want to ask you. Way before the fight has even been discussed or set up. What round does this Caleb Plant KO come in, so I could make sure that when the fight does get set up, I put my dollars in Vegas very, very early?
First of all, you know, we gotta write the contract and discuss how much percentage you're gonna give me for that knowledge once you win for the round. But nah, I don't know. I don't think about that. I don't fuck my mindset up like that, thinking of, you know, this is a round, I'm gonna stop him, because sometimes when you think about it too much, it doesn't happen like that. You just gotta let it flow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you just go in there thinking I'm gonna knock a guy out in the 5th round, you know, for me it doesn't really happen. Sometimes I just work the game plan, and sometimes the knockout comes on its own. I can't rush it. I can't say it's in the 5th round, 6th round, you know. But it's definitely, I'm definitely looking to knock Caleb Plant. I'm definitely looking to put a hurt on that dude, because I really don't like him.
Me, David, my favorite junior middleweight of all time, a super middleweight of all time, or at least who I think is the best, is Joe Calzaghe. Not everyone agrees with me, but who do you rank as your, you know, all-time best 168-pounder?
I feel like definitely Joe Calzaghe should be one of the top ones, because, you know, at the end of the day, he retired undefeated. You know, he had amazing combinations. You know, he was a great fighter. You know, so I think he should be up there. Definitely, my other two favorites are Roy Jones Jr. and Tony. What's his name? James Toney.
James Toney. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Those are my top 3 guys.
Well, there you go. David Benavidez here on Leaving the Ring Radio. David, I want to thank you, man. Hey, make sure you say hello to your dad and your brother for me, brother. I appreciate you coming on this late, man, and day.
Yeah, for sure, brother. Thank you guys. I appreciate, you know, all your guys' support too, man. You know, at the end of the day, as a fighter, I just want to say that, you know, this is all made possible because of you guys. You know, you guys are the ones that buy the tickets, you know, give us exposure, you know, give us the interview. So I want to thank you guys too. You know, I really appreciate everything you guys do as well.
Thank you. Very humbly to hear that, and very appreciative. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Take care, man. I appreciate it. David Benavidez here on Leaving the Ring.
Have a good night,
too.
brother.
David Benavidez here on Leaving the Ring Radio. Sorry, I'm getting a bunch of texts here on right now.
When you take those texts, David, I just want to mention that
go ahead.
One thing I get to say while he was on the air is that this guy's had a tremendous bounce back story, much like Tyson Fury. You know, when he was a teenager, he was training in boxing because he was a really big kid. I think he almost got up to 300 pounds. And the fact that he's fighting at 168 is pretty incredible.
Incredible.
And the other is that he obviously faced issues outside of the ring. I didn't want to get into that too much with him on on the line, but he was able to bounce back from that too. I mean, we all know the reason he got stripped for the WBC title the first time,
Right.
and a lot of guys with lesser character wouldn't have been able to bounce back from that, and he absolutely did. So the young man's got a lot of credit from me, and I know from many guys that are out there rooting for him.
Absolutely. Let me bring on Marcos Caballero here, the head trainer to Roman Gonzalez. Marcos, are you there, brother?
I'm here. How you doing, Dave?
Hey, how you doing, man? Long time no talk.
It's been a long time, man.
I know, brother. It's been. I did this whole hiatus, right? I just stopped doing like the radio show, but I mean, I had like the other guys do it, and Milcard got the bug back into my ass and said, hey, you need to come back and start doing. So here we are, man. And I personally wanted to get a hold of you to congratulate you with your guys' phenomenal win on Saturday.
Thank you. It went great. It was a good night for me.
It was a great night. I was talking to Red, and Red was like, dude, Roman looks really good. They're doing a lot of running. He looks really sharp in the gym. You're going to see it. You're going to see it on Saturday. Marcos, tell us a little bit, though, because this wasn't like all of a sudden you started being part of Roman's training camp. You went to you've been with them for quite some time, right?
Well, we've been training together for about a year and a half. But we started when we first moved to the United States. They called me and contacted. They want to do training camp in the Valley with his old trainer, and they did for one of the fights. And they asked me to one of my youngest son help them for one of the fights to training camp with them. They used them. We went to Big Bear. That was the last time his coach was right there with him, and I learned a lot about him. It took me a while to get used to it. I mean, you're talking about a high-quality fighter, which you think that does he have any mistakes in throwing a punch or doing anything wrong? But it did. It took me a while for him to believe in me, and finally, we went through the first fight. We fight in Vegas. The punches that we practiced, that's the punch he knocked out the guy. So we got to believe more in me, and then we went through the next one, which is it didn't go through the whole. That's when he had the surgery, when it was injury, and then we went to Japan. Things worked out good. It was only 2 weeks to train for that kid. Nobody knew him, but it's still a dangerous fighter. We got together and we practiced. I told him, "Oh, this is it. You're gonna demolish this guy. If you can get out in one round, it's good for you because you're gonna look good." And he did listen to it, and he finished the guy. Coming into this one, right after the fight in Japan, after we get out of the ring, he goes, "You guys got to go back in training camp." I say, "Why?" There's a fight done, and it's gonna be at the end of February. And he goes, "You got to get back in training. Just give it 1 week and go back into training camp." That's what he did. We get back in it, and I started studying the guy, and I see no much on the fight, a lot of mistakes, and I think we worked on that, and it came out perfect. Everything you see in Chocolatito, we trained for it, and he did it good.
Was it Honda from Taken Promotions that gave you that fight right away? Is that who he's still signed with?
Yeah, right. We got off the fight in Japan. We just finished the fight. We finished the guy in the second round. As soon as we got in the locker room, because it's a done deal. The fight's going in February. They already announced it. They already said it's okay. They'll take it for the world title. So we all got excited. I mean, he's been waiting for all year to get back in a major fight. So we got back in. He came back in training camp. Only gained before the fight in Japan. He weighed 125. He came back to training camp, still weighed 125, so he didn't gain no weight. We only had 10 pounds to lose, and he took care of himself through that time he was out.
That's amazing. I was actually at the Sor Rungvisai fight at Madison Square Garden, the first one, and it was full of Nicaraguans. My family's actually from Central America on my mom's side, and I was rooting a lot for Gonzalez for other reasons as well, which I'll get into later. But have you studied that fight? And is that a rematch that you'd be looking for? And if if you did study and if you are looking for the rematch, what kind of adjustments would you make in another Sor Rungvisai fight?
I wasn't there in a training camp. What would I do? Get the right sparring partners that you have. You know, there's a thing in boxing. That first fight, we all knew he won. It was a close fight, but he came out throwing more punches. It was a close fight, but it could have went to Roman. It didn't go his way. The second one, there's a thing that happened in boxing. A lot of people looks at the fight inside the ring, but there's things that happen before the fight. If you have any problems, you got sick, or any issue could happen. It might happen, and nobody knows. Just people judge Chocolatito when he got in the ring, he got knocked out. But Chocolatito's a great fighter. He take care of himself. I mean, what adjustments I will do, I will have to get some sparring partners that were solid and they will imitate, not exactly his style, but imitate the style of, I forgot his name. And go from there, look at the mistakes that he did. Yeah, and you know, anything can happen in boxing. Anything. No one believed in Chocolatito this time. Nobody did.
Right.
You know,
they wrote him off.
And he proved everybody wrong.
Mm-hmm. The other thing that I've heard about Chocolatito recently is that, you know, he's obviously active politically in Nicaragua. He's aligned himself with the socialist president, who's, you know, pretty popular, except for here with the United States government. You know, has he discussed any of that with you and his popularity in Nicaragua and how he's getting on down there in his home country?
This man will not talk about the political stuff. He's not involved with the political stuff. He believes in the government because those are the people who helped him out when he was poor. What would you do? Stab him in the back? You got to understand, if someone gives you something, would you stab him in the back or after they help you out when no one gives him a penny for him? He don't talk about the government. You ask him questions, stays quiet. You know what I mean? Can you respect that? You respect people's opinion. He's allowed to choose where he wants to. And you got to understand, I know the political stuff. I know people hate him but that's the people he believes in. The people who gives him a house, even food when they need it. And then what would you do?
It's a legitimate government that's done, as you said, great things for poor people in terms of healthcare, education, opportunity. He's got every right to support that government. I was just wondering
Not just that.
Yeah.
Not just that. They help him out with food, and this comes from a very poor family. They gave him a car, they gave him a house, and give him money to support the family. And what would you do? You know, people say the country. At the end of the day, the country's not going to fit you. You're going to have to survive. You know what I mean? You're going to think that people's in it. I'm not a political involved with it, but I just listen to him, and he has a point because they help him out. And he's a man. Believe me, if you met this guy inside, he's an amazing kid. He's a kid that I will say is a role model for any kid. This kid is not into social media at all. He doesn't like to get into people, start criticizing people. He's a kid that is on to the Bible. All he listens to, he doesn't watch TV. All he does is listen to Christian music. All he does is listen to the Bible. It's amazing. I've got to learn this kid every time. I see this kid more and more, and it's amazing what he does. I mean, great person. He'll give what he has in his pocket to someone who needs it. I've been learning that every day. You know, and it's amazing. It even teach me how to use the Bible. Something I've never done in my life. Never knew how to read the Bible. Just started from here. So it was amazing. The kid's amazing. And he believes in God, and God gives him this power to win this fight. God gives the power to everyone on my team to win this fight. And we thank God every day. I mean, it was amazing time. Great kid. And people's going to judge him. He's allowed to choose whoever he wants. That's his choice.
Absolutely. It's just that you're well aware that our Spanish language media here in the United States is very right wing and conservative, and whether it's Cuba or Nicaragua or Venezuela, they have nothing but bad things to say and never anything positive. So I always felt that it shows his character that at the end of a big match, he's always able to thank President Ortega and the government, despite the fact that he knows very well that it's something that the media here in the United States and in other places would probably not like very much. But switching real quick, sorry, go ahead.
I say life goes on.
Absolutely.
Life goes on.
Yes, you've been out to Japan, and if I'm guessing have been in the gyms out there. Japan has done a great deal, especially taking promotion for maintaining kind of the activity in the lower weight classes, and I really mean like 118 and below. Can you discuss a little bit of your experience going out there to Japan, what the gyms were like, what the promotions were like?
It's a great place, beautiful place. I mean, I will go again for vacation. So that way, the gyms are nice. People walk in. You can't walk with your tennis shoes. You got to take your shoes outside. You got to change inside. And it's pretty much the same as here. I mean, you got the coaches. This is pretty much the same as here. A little different culture by going inside. Right here, we're more, not old gyms, but a little dirtier. And then over there, just everything has to be perfect. You got to put your shoes outside, put some sandals going to the ring. Training, it's a little different on training, but it works for them. Our style works for us, you know what I mean? But it's a great place to be.
Would you ever adopt any of those practices back here in the U.S.?
I don't think so. It don't go for what I learned in boxing, but like I say, it works for them. I don't think I'll use it.
The socks and the taking off the shoes. Yeah.
No, we have a hard time taking our shoes in the house. Imagine going to the gym.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Marcos, let me ask you. Juan Francisco Estrada is the guy out there, and I know most fans. I'm pretty sure after that win, you guys heading back, everybody's asking about him. What is your thoughts about him, and what do you guys? Is that the next fight you guys would want?
Yeah, I mean, it's all business. At this point, it's all business. Estrada, for him to make money, has to fight Chocolatito. Chocolatito can move any direction, still make money. You know what I mean? People want to fight. Yeah, people want to fight. They fought already. It was a close fight. Chocolatito beat him. The win is on Chocolatito the first time. So it was a close fight. But I go back again. What the people doesn't understand, that doesn't know what happened the night before. Nobody ever asked, do you have any problems with the training camp? Do you have any problems? People don't care about what happened in your life outside. They just want you to get inside. You get to learn all the stuff that people don't understand. Why do you stop this guy? They meet at the perfect age. I mean, the Estrada, it was undefeated. I think he only had one loss. Strong. He was young. I mean, now he's back in 115. He's a world champion. Still, I don't think it generates the kind of money Chocolatito will generate if he doesn't fight with Chocolatito. So what they're trying to do is put a fight first to go with the other champion, or WBO, I think it is, and then unify the title, and then meet up again. It's going to happen. It's not that Chocolatito doesn't want it. It's about the money. I think. I don't know. I don't run the fight, but I'm pretty sure it's has to be the money. If you pay the money, anybody will fight anybody. These people are not afraid to fight anybody. I mean, you fight time world champion. Why would you be afraid to fight Estrada? You will fight him. With the money on the table, I'm pretty sure. And everybody will fight anybody. Pacquiao fights anybody. But you're not going to fight for $50. You know what I mean? You got to fight for the money.
Right.
It's all business.
Hey, what's going on with your boys? Randy and your other son Rene. When are they coming back to the ring? Is there any news about them? Are they in the gym with you working right now?
Randy's right here listening to you.
What's up, Randy?
Say hi to you. Randy, say hi. No, it's Randy's been taking his time off because it's surgery, and Romel even have a little problem with the headache. Randy.
Hello.
It's Randy.
Randy, ¿qué pasó, bro? How you been, brother?
I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
Good. Long time. We haven't talked, man. I was asking your dad right now when. I know, man. I was just asking your dad, like, when's the plan of the comeback for you to get back into the ring?
I want to, man. I definitely want to. I had surgery on my foot. It actually got better, and then after I started getting back on my foot, I ended up twisting my other ankle, and I'm off now, trying to wait for that to heal. Yeah, it's really bad pain, but it's getting a little better. So I'm hoping soon. But then again, I still got to get back inside the gym and see how my body feels.
Well, man, I hope you recover and get back in there, man. I miss seeing you in the ring, doing your thing.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I miss being inside that ring.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely, man.
Have a good night. Here's my dad.
Have a good night.
Brother. Thank you.
Go ahead, Dad. I'm here.
Okay, brother. Hey, you know who you need to train, Marcos? You need to get Red, man. Get him in the ring. He could be the next Canelo.
He likes to eat, man. I make some food and he comes over here. He'll eat 20 tacos.
I know.
He loves the way I cook.
That's been Red, man, for years, brother. Well, anyways, man, I want to thank you for coming on, bro. I appreciate it. We got to get you back on. Yeah, brother. And it was a great win. I can't wait to talk to you again. I talked to Red the other day. I got to make a trip out there to go visit you guys. I haven't done it, man. Like I said, I've been missing in action, but I'm back. All right, brother. I'll talk to you later.
Anytime, man. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for calling.
Thank you for calling in, brother. Have a great night.
Appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Marcos Caballero, really good trainer, man. Very, very nice, humble person. Great family. Known him for years. Red is one of the original OGs of Leaving the Ring. I know if you didn't listen to us from the beginning, Red is one of the original guys. I used to book all the guests. He was the PR for Leaving the Ring Radio, and Red is out there, and Red actually helps out in the corner when Marcos needs him as a cut man. Actually, not as a cut man. Red's going to come on, man. I'm going to have him come on next week. He's got some great stories, man. Red, my friend, he's a really funny dude, and he was made to be a cut man for Marcos, and I wanted him to tell that story. I think you guys will have a kick off of that. And Red has worked with a lot of fighters as well. Has helped out a lot of guys, and is a really good dude. But I wanted to get Marcos on because, for one, I wanted to congratulate him. I think that was a big win, not just for Chocolatito, but for as well as for Marcos, because not a lot of people know him personally. The name hasn't really came out, but he's an awesome trainer, and he's worked with a lot of good fighters. And being that he's from Nicaragua, he works with a lot of Nicorencia fighters as well. But
bro, anytime you can help a guy come back from a loss like that and win a world title against a young undefeated guy like Calify, that's a humongous accomplishment. So all credit to him.
Absolutely, man. And he looked great. That was just the thing. Roman looked really good. So I'm really interested. They've been inviting me over and over. Not just them, but a bunch of folks have been inviting me to come to the gym. And this year, I'm going to do it.
You should. You should definitely go back to the gym.
Trainer. A lot of good fighters. Yep. And being from Nicaragua. Anyways, fighters as well. But playback here. Anyways, again, I want to thank everybody that came on and listened and tuned in to Leaving the Ring. We got some great guests lined up for next week as well. We're going to try working on bringing more guests. When we bring on more guests, the show's going to be a little longer, but when we don't have anybody scheduled, it's going to be a 2-hour show. Again, if you watching us on YouTube, please press the like button, subscribe, and don't forget to test that little bell there so you're notified when we're on live. And I'm still working, trying to come on YouTube at least once a week on Friday mornings. It's really tough with me sometimes because I work late, and it's just one of those things and stuff, man. But we're definitely trying to put more content for everybody, and we're just going to keep doing our things here on Lead Ring. You can always catch the show and the replay on all the platforms that we're on, and you can catch us on YouTube as well. Again, Kenny, Amilcar, it was fun. Always a pleasure speaking to you guys here on Leave a Ring about boxing. And, what else can I say, man? Have a great weekend. Don't spill your beer because you will. Don't drink your beer. Don't drink and drive. Man, I'm forgetting my own lines now, man. That's how tired I am. Don't drink or drive because you will spill your beer.
Thank you, man.
Take care, guys.
It's been great.
Jesus.
Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros,